Hello, I am in fact the Shasta one. Sorry for that delay there to kick off the stream. Um, how y'all doing? You having a good Sunday? Yeah, you too. I'm having a pretty nice, chill Sunday. It's been a pretty chill weekend all around, and I've just been playing a little Minecraft this afternoon, and I figured, hey, I might as well just turn the camera on and hang out with you guys a little bit, provide a little more content because I've been a little inconsistent here lately, and by lately I mean for the past 5 years. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I think this is going to look another Shasta Fact moment as usual to start the stream. This is going to look pretty familiar to you, I think, if you're just stopping by. Actually, what might weird you out a little bit is that my microphone stand is now coming from the opposite side because you see, I've had this microphone stand ever since I got it. The Rode PS1, if you want to look it up. You can see it on my hardware specs below. It's been mounted with like a C-clamp over on this side, and it's between a couple monitors. The clamp takes up a lot of desk space. It kind of drove me crazy, and it was just like way too close to me. It was defeating the purpose of the mic stand in that it was taking up way too much room when it was supposed to just like float this mic out in front of me. So what I wound up doing yesterday was what I had thought I would do for, I don't know, the past year. Finally drilled into this ancient PC desk of mine and installed a permanent base for this microphone mount, this microphone stand. And I am really freaking happy with it. I feel like I can T-pose at my desk like in a 360-degree turn if I wanted to. It's pretty slick. And also that means hopefully there's like less of this up on your screen as well. Here's the hoping. But enough inside baseball. Oh, look at that view. So, the bridge is done. That's pretty hype by itself. I finished the bridge last night, and this morning I did this. I know. Subtle, right? It's I looked up how to make a good path. This is my first attempt at a quote unquote good path. Usually my paths are they're like this. They are flat, they are pretty straight. They just do either the 8 cardinal directions like up, down, left, and right in the diagonals. It's pretty boring. Test. Is my mic doubled? That's actually an issue that I was having. Prior to the start of the stream, I could see the activity in my desktop audio. Now, I cannot see the activity on the desktop audio, so I think... I don't know, I think... Is my mic doubled now? Is it still doubled on your end? Because I disabled my desktop audio, so it should be... Oh. Okay, I see it. I see the issue now. I have a second mic set up, a second mic line set up. I believe just in case Zeta comes in for like a co-host type of stream. And because I was messing with my audio before the stream, I got a weird stereo effect. So thank you for catching that. And also hello, Micah. Okay, so I think we got it figured out now. It has an echo effect still? What? Let me see what's going on here. What's up, Zeta? Okay, I think I fixed it. Maybe. We'll see. Oh, nice. Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah. I just had my one mic running to 2 separate audio channels, and one is actually like off of my OBS. You have to scroll down to see it. So like I had no idea. So anyway, let me get back into it. So this is like my usual path, right? Like, oh, that fancy stone brick bridge. That's like the best I do with paths. And so I gave this a solid try this morning. So basically, like, the rules of making paths in Minecraft is that you kind of want to blend in with your terrain on the either side of it. You know, just make it look casual, a little used, a little ruined, but not quite fancy at one point. I'm using buttons as like, they look like rocks. They remind me of the stones in Valheim when they're set up like this. Oh man, we're almost getting to that bridge. Actually, before we sleep, let's continue trotting my way down here. This also seems like uncomfortably dark. Is this safe? Yeah, it's safe. Wow. Still getting used to those lighting changes with mob spawns. And I don't 100% like this. It's like a little too noisy for me still. And Zeta and I were talking about this morning. And I think that there's still some things I can do. A couple of things I want to do is I want to have like singular cobblestone walls on either side of this on occasion, holding a lantern as like a some casual lighting. And I think I'm gonna like grow up the grass and add some flowers around this as well, just to pretty it up that extra bit. This took a stupid amount of time. And it would have been a pretty... I almost didn't want to stream this part because this actually took a lot of concentration on my end. It takes a lot of brain power to intentionally place something in a way that looks random. It's hard for at least my brain to be pseudo-random. So, yeah, this took a lot of digging, a little bit of land transformation, dirt moving around, but I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, I still have a ways to go, like I'm saying, but pretty happy with it. And this beautifully detailed... Yes, leaf blocks for bushes. That's definitely on my mind. And also like those little trees, like those baby azalea trees. Some stone walls and some iron ones where it kind of looks like the rebar of a stone wall. Oh, okay. Ooh. That would be... That's a little more industrial than what I'm looking for at the moment, I think. I think that the bridge is really like... It's really setting an era in my mind of just like some, you know, just dawn of the Industrial Revolution, like 1870s era kind of a look, which I think that my house also kind of reflects as well. Maybe that's just me. But I could see it. Some like exposed metal for like a rebar-like look. I think they had like rebar and forced concrete at that time. So now that terrifying things are spawning across the way, let's go ahead and sleep on the bridge where we're relatively safe. Day 804. I've decided I'm going to start putting the day in my Twitch titles as well, just as a way for me to keep track. Because, you know, you have your, like, we're past 200 hours, by the way. 203 hours up there in the top left. Oh, that's dangerous. But I should probably also start advertising like how many Minecraft days I've survived, because it's getting up there to a point where I could be kind of proud of that, you know? Off to Costco, wee! All right, it's fair to tell Zeta to enjoy Costco, because she does. Welcome to Costco. I love Zeta. That's what Costco says, and I'm cool with them saying it. I'm really in a shared relationship with Zeta. It really is just. She splits her love between me and Costco. She gives us both 100% somehow. So things that I'm going to do, I'm going to clear out some of these trees. Titty Biscuits is back. Welcome back. The power of the Titty Biscuits. 420. Actually, my goodness, we're going to be celebrating 420 here on stream. What a time to show up. What a time for Titty Biscuits to be logged in and online. Welcome. So as you can see down here, I think I'm going to... I know I'm going to follow Absent Crabson's suggestion that she posted in the official Shasta 1 Discord. You see there's a curve to this river here. Basically, okay, the crux of the issue. Let me start from the beginning so you guys can follow this explanation logically, and you don't have to put together the pieces after the fact. Look at this. Look at this. Disgusting. That's a sheer, flat, gross, man-made artificial wall. And I said initially that I was going to like gently terrace this and slope it and have like flowers, like banks of flowers right here, with like a nice waterfall running down the middle, like down into the water here. Because I want to preserve all this beautiful flat riverside real estate. Like, this looks really nice, right? And then Absent Crabson said, well, look, there's a curve to this wall right here already. So what if you just use that natural curve as a guide, have a nice, gentle, sheer cliff face that curves around this way. I've already taken out half of this dirt anyway. This was all filled in with dirt when this world was generated. Why not just like remove this whole arc and have a nice wide bay area right here? And then your buildings can start, you know, this is your new cliffside real estate. It looks pretty nice. And the more I sat and thought about it, it's like, you know what? I do have a whole lot of space to build in over here, including some random floating dirt blocks. Thank you, Enderman. I like that idea. And so I'm going to go with it. I've decided that I'm going to go with it. So the first thing I'm going to do, clear out my inventory here, get a lot of shulker boxes, and we're good. We're going to do a little mining today. Doing a little bit of digging. Ain't that the truth though, Titty Biscuits? Like, Minecraft is so peaceful until it isn't. And oh man, I mean, I've had that thought before. I actually had my first Minecraft dream in a very long time. Like, this is how intense this is getting for me. I dreamed of Minecraft. And I haven't dreamed of Minecraft. I'm not sure if I've had a proper Minecraft dream since I don't know, college? Maybe? College was a long time ago, to set the frame. It was pretty wild. It was basically like, it was World 11 too. Like, I was dreaming of this specific area of my Minecraft world. And it was not a great dream. I mean, I was just like rolling around, and then I was suddenly attacked by like every Minecraft boss at once. I got so close. You know, sometimes in your dreams, you get so close to realizing that you're dreaming, and then something crazy happens, and it's just, you just completely forget that you almost had that thought. Here, like, I got so close. I was attacked by a dragon. I was attacked by the wither. At the same time, by the way, like around here, like a whole army of creepers started rolling up. And Dream Me was like, this is bullshit. Like, this is BS. Like, I shouldn't be being attacked right now. Like, where are all these things coming from? This is not like the Minecraft that I know. Something is different here. And then, of course, they all just, like, randomly attacked me. And then that thought just never re-entered my addled brain. Pretty cool, though. You're dreaming that you were climbing up horses. Usually, you know, you have the Skyrim physics, and you're climbing things with the horse. Climbing up horses like a giant mountain-sized horse, and you're just, like, climbing up. Like your Link in Breath of the Wild. Dude, my other dream that night was, I dreamt that me and a couple of my longtime friends were on a Major League Baseball team. Which is crazy because, like, of the three of us, only one of us had, like, any kind of baseball talent whatsoever, I think. And again, I had one of those thoughts where it's like, this isn't right. We shouldn't be here. Oh, that's gravel. That shouldn't be up there anyway. Go ahead and place what I can in here. Andesite slab. I spent some time this morning picking up some andesite just for that, just for what I've been working on down here by the bridge and the path. So I was bankrupt on andesite this morning. This will show you how much of this stuff I picked up. Well, like 7? I got 7 stacks left? That's pretty crazy. Go ahead and put that there. That there. Okay, I just glanced over and I saw a few words of Titty Biscuit streams. And I gotta check this out. This sounds wild. So, it was Titty Biscuits trying to climb a mountain, but it was raining, so he couldn't. And the horses made like a conveyor belt. You could climb the horses like ladders up the mountain. What? Then dreamt I ate my friend's AirPods and she got pissed off. Well, yeah. You're like, these look like delicious jelly beans. Throw them down. Oh my gosh. You think you can get access to the microphone on the AirPods? You could just hear like your stomach bubbling until like the acid just ate through them? Oh, dude, I gotta imagine, like, the small batteries in those AirPods, those would not digest well. You'd be reaching for that Pepto-Bismol for sure. Check out some of those buttons over here. Oh, I also spent quite a bit of time just lighting this bad boy up. That's also what I was doing. Got some extra torch action. This whole coast right here is basically all lit up now, which is crazy. What the hell? I don't know why, but I was in a Sainsbury's shop near my house when it happened, and you got murdered in the ocean. It's all the same dream. Dude, usually, like, when my dreams get super improbable, I gotta, like, daisy chain those dreams in a row. Like, you know, one dream ends and the virtual curtain drops, and then another dream begins. Like, I don't have, like, a whole bunch of unrelated crazy scenarios all in the same dream. That's wild. What I'm trying to say is my dreams are usually like a coherent narrative. They always tell like a story that tends to make halfway sense. I think it's because I'm a very like narrative driven mind, I believe. The narrative doesn't have to like make sense. It could be crazy, but like it's at least usually coherent like inside the dream world. And inside your dream, you had a girlfriend, and you ate her AirPods too. Oh, got him. The old self-burn. Also could light up this side. I don't really start building places until I have a torch grid down. Yummy airports just... Titty Biscuits is just eating the whole airport, one bite of tarmac at a time. There was a runway here yesterday until this fella came along and just started eating the whole thing. Sorry, I had to. Dude, well, at least, you know, it's... If you're approaching 10 o'clock at night over there, you can still get 8 hours of sleep. You just can't be up for too long. You know, a lot of people use this stream to, they use this stream to fall asleep. I have a very soothing voice. And then you have school. Yeah. The weekends, they just seem to pass so short, don't they? It's funny how that works, because like I usually wake up early on the weekends. Like I wake up earlier than when I have to go to work. You know, the adult version of school. And like it's so hard to get me out of bed. End of the holiday as well. Oh man. Let's see, middle of February. Like what's what holiday would you be on over there? Or is it just like you decide to take one? Let me see. What am I doing? Yeah, still clearing out the inventory and getting a bunch of shulker boxes. Then we start digging, baby. Oh, half-term holiday. Okay. I guess our equivalent to that would be like just your spring break. Which I think is probably in still another month. All right, Titty Biscuits will be gone for about 5 minutes, and start your watches, ladies and gentlemen, and go. I'll be back. Well done. Keeping those early 90s references alive, baby. Okay, anything else I can get rid of? Probably just the random chests. I don't really need those. Y'all, something I was dwelling on earlier, like really dwelling on, just like chin on my fist, thinking this through, is that I am running out of chest space. Like when I covered my roof with chests, the best installation that you could buy in Minecraft, It's like the Minecraft equivalent of stuffing money in your walls. Literally money in this case, this chest case. I thought there'd be no way I'd ever have enough items to fill this up. Mostly because I didn't think I would live for 203 hours. Over a week of real time spent in this world. I need a proper storage space, and I don't know if I want to do what I did on the server and make that Shulkercraft like auto sorter, which apparently lags your world up quite a bit. Apparently it slows you down. But, you know, I don't want to. That would take another week. You guys would come back and I'd be like at 16 days. What, 400 hours of gameplay time? That's how it works. Also, I finally finished this back porch, if you notice. I chopped this last bit out. This porch used to cover up this teeny tiny little bamboo farm, which is now hopelessly overwhelmed. And outclassed by its bigger brother downstairs. I added a railing, added some lighting. Looking good. I appreciate that, like the little detail work. Like I was saying on the Discord, it's like finally I'm focusing a little bit on aesthetics, even if I don't have a great grasp on it yet. Again, just looking at this road. And this road's useless, by the way. I got the elytra. I'm never going to use it, but it's like appearances matter, man. And I realized when I hit the 2 Minecraft year mark on this world, it's just like, I don't have too much to show from it all in one picture. Like, my farms are all underground, tastefully, I might add, tastefully underground and out of the way. So really, all I just have is the house and a few just like, I have the giant glass cactus, of course. Then outside that, it's like, all right, Shasta, what you been doing? Well, I could just like run all over the place and let you know, but it doesn't look like much. So what am I doing? I'm tearing out some land in hopes that people won't even be able to tell that I've done this crazy amount of work. That's the dream here. Xtanium! Welcome, dude. Welcome back. Dude, I was watching a little bit of Chevy stream with you today. I didn't make my presence known. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. I like how chill Chevy streams are. He kind of uses Sea of Thieves like I use Minecraft. It's just like the super chill background to... What? You saw? Bro, 300 followers too? Congrats. Dude, that's worth all caps. That's hype, man. He does. He's got a really pleasant accent. You became his mod. There's so much. You were bombarding me with new and exciting information. What's the first thing that you're gonna type that's not in all caps when you finally have to like catch your breath? Modding Chevy's channel, hitting 300 follows. He has a very pleasant accent. It's all like super enthusiastic good news. Nookie, welcome back. Dude, I am... Xtanium does not need to breathe. That is a talent. Send that kid to the X-Men. Nookie, I have just finished this lovely deep slate bridge that I shamelessly stole from Reddit. I got a nice settlement going on over there. I'm 200 hours into this hardcore Minecraft world. And what I'm doing is I'm widening up this river. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been hard at work while you've been gone. I was just saying that I'm trying to focus more on aesthetic builds at the moment, so I have more to show when people come back to visit. So I got this nice, exciting bridge. I dug out this part of land just to have another leg of the bridge. I thought it would look better if it was coming out of the water. Oh my god. Oh, you want the aerial view anyway. Let's do it. Whee! So I'm going to dig this part out as well. I'm going to widen out the river. Chevy! What's up, man? Dude, I was just complimenting the sound of your voice. I was telling Xtanium. Yeah, I was telling Xtanium that I was lurking in your stream this morning. Well, morning for me. I was like, man, Chevy's just got a really pleasant voice. Like, And Sea of Thieves, you kind of use Sea of Thieves the way that I use Minecraft. It's just like this nice and peaceful background with occasional moments of sheer panic. Just to kind of talk over and chill and vibe out. So game recognized game, dude. Of course, of course. I mean, Jesus Christ, Xtanium, you gotta bring it down at some point. I mean, I know caps lock is cruise control for cool, but even that has limits. You can reach like too cool. Is this where I was digging? I think this is where I was digging. It's getting kind of confusing. So again, this is I spent all morning just like working on a sweet path, which is not quite sweet. I'm still working on it. This was this morning's work. I got to add a little greenery around it, dress it up a little bit. Gonna add some lanterns to make it look nice and pretty. But it really bugged me that the bridge, the reason why I made this path to begin with was that it really bugged me that this bridge just ran directly into a wall. It started from nowhere, and even worse, it goes nowhere. There's nothing over here. So like, what's the guy to do? So now I'm working on the other side. This has to be like a super beautiful bridge. I've come this far, and I have so much farther to go. I gotta get rid of this like gross sheer wall. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm working on. Not maybe, I don't know if this is like more or less exciting than just like a farm build. But I gotta make the most of the aesthetic side of things as well. Here we are. I gotta cut through this thing in a way that like I can tell where it is. Where's my actual curve at? Dude, you know, the way that I play video games anymore is that like I feel like I didn't want to join the giveaway because I'm genuinely curious about playing God of War, but like, you know, I'm in a pretty good place. If I want to play God of War, I can go ahead and buy it. So I figure if there was like some kid in your channel who might not have disposable income, I'd want to see God of War go to them instead. And I was also just big lurking. That's cool though. Like the giveaway is super cool. Let's see. I was watching Chevy. I watched a little bit of Xtanium. And I was watching this dad, this guy who's older than me. I know there are people out there who are even older than me. And he was taking on the dragon in his hardcore world. And I think he had like some family in the chat who were watching him play. It was like super wholesome. I'm 9,000 years old. I was here when Bigfoots were like when Bigfoots ran the earth. There was this brief period, you see, between like the Mesozoic area, like after Cretaceous, you know, but between the modern day and the Mesozoic era, where the entire planet was just overrun by these incredibly intelligent lost apes called the Yeti/Bigfoot/Boogers. And I was there for it. It was about 9,000 years ago. God, I was young then. Or gods, we were young then. And, yeah, I was just waiting around for Twitch to happen ever since. I was just like, man, it'd be awesome if I could just stream some video games. And I had to wait over 9,000 years. When is the Kenobi series coming out on Disney Plus that I'm starring in? I've been waiting ever since the beginning of 2020. I've been working on my best Ewan McGregor. People are gonna expect like his nice, you know, silvery Scottish accent. Oh, does he have an Irish accent? Hello there. Yeah, what's his accent? I don't know. They're gonna be expecting like this nice, pleasant, accent, and I'm gonna be over here like, "Hello there." Oh, look at that! The people say it's good. See, I could do the hello there because I've been practicing that one. Every time Absent Craftsman stops by the chat and says hello there, I just immediately read that in Kenobi's voice. And also, let me say that I saw Star Wars Episode 4 in movie theaters not even 24 hours ago. I saw the original Star Wars A New Hope on the big screen. So I saw the original hello there from Alec Guinness himself, the original Obi-Wan, unmatched in my opinion, although I love how much Ewan McGregor took after Alec's mannerisms. It was awesome. So I had a very recent reference. Oh, dude, this movie night was the coolest thing. It's our local museum here in Shasta Town, USA. This museum has its own movie theater. And it's not like a row of seats facing directly at the screen. The seats are like curved all the way around it, like the Galactic Senate. Hello, Absent Crabsons. I was just talking about seeing Star Wars in movie theaters last night. But anyway, in this movie theater, there's they always have a presenter who has some personal connection to the content being shown. So in this case, it was a guy, probably like in his mid-60s. I don't know. I haven't done the math. I don't think he wants me to do the math. But this guy saw the original Star Wars in theaters a week before it released. He was like in this pre-release like group to go see it. And he was talking about like how crazy and how alienating it was to be an avowed nerd in the 1970s because you're being exposed to like Star Trek and Marvel comics and all these things that, they teach you so much about humanity through the lens of science fiction, right? But like everyone's thinking, oh, comics, those are for nerds. Come on, like no one's heard of Stan Lee. Spider-Man, he's half spider or something? That's gross, dude. How alienating that was and how you don't have the internet to build that kind of community. But he talked about walking around for a week, a whole week before Star Wars was released. And just feeling like he was carrying this like holy information, like he was the only one who knew that the world, the culture, like American culture was about to change. Because Star Wars was such a watershed moment in film, and he knew it. From the moment that he saw it, he was like, "Oh my God, none of these people I'm talking to have seen Star Wars yet, but they're about to, and their life is gonna change." So anyway, yeah, Xtanium, you can still like not breathe, but like bring the caps lock down, man. There's so much caps lock over there, it's stressing me out. Titty Biscuits, welcome back. I just hope everyone's having a good weekend. You guys, a lot of you guys are a lot closer to the end of the weekend than me, and I hope you made the most of it. So seeing Star Wars on the big screen, I have not seen the original Star Wars A New Hope in theaters since, when was it re-released? Since like 1996. I went with my grandpa. Like my grandpa, huge Star Wars fan. Huge Lord of the Rings fan. Every single Star Wars and Lord of the Rings that was released between like 1996 and 2005, my grandpa took me to go see them. Bought my ticket even though I was absolutely old enough to drive. And it was just the coolest thing. It was just, something that we shared. Chevy, that is sick. Saw Two Towers 6 times. And Two Towers, I think, that's probably my favorite of the Lord of the Rings films. Now, granted, I can't say anything about The Hobbit. I still haven't seen The Hobbit. I haven't seen The Hobbit despite the fact that my pal Soy Sauce lent me The Hobbit on DVD, like the complete collection. And it just sat in my house for a couple years, and I didn't watch it. He was just like, hey man, like I want to watch The Hobbit again. Can you like give that back? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I never watched it. Feels bad. But I know people who believe that the Hobbit films are better than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So like I gotta see it. I gotta see it. Dude, look at that. Titty Biscuits absolutely loves Star Wars. Just watched episode 9 last night. I haven't watched episode 9 yet. I've lost my mojo. I've lost my mojo on the Disney films. I need to watch The Mandalorian and get it back. Dude, look at that. Absent Craftsman loves The Hobbit. I don't think I've come across too many people who are just like, bro, The Hobbit, this week, dude. I was super suspicious when they said that there was going to be multiple Hobbit films. Because at least The Lord of the Rings made sense. You know, it's one book split into 3 separate books. You know, it's all Lord of the Rings. It's all in one bound book, typically. But, you know, it came in 3 sections, where The Hobbit was just one standalone section. It was one standalone story. So, cynical me. I think I was more cynical a few years ago than I am now, even. I looked at that like, okay, well, this is just the big movie studios making for a big cash grab. They're stretching out the story. They're going to pad it out. And then it came out, and I didn't hear a single person make that criticism. They're all just like, bro, this is incredible. Like, you should watch it. And I couldn't say, like, what my general reaction was to all those people. It was probably like, oh, yeah, I'll go ahead and watch it. And I never did. Yeah, I think that, like, I don't want to give Disney money. Like, Disney is buying up every single freaking film, like, independent studio that's left. They're buying up these mega properties like Fox. Like, they don't need my money. So, I'll probably just, like, watch it from someone else's account. Which is somehow, like, completely ethically different for me. It's like, well, you know, I'm still watching their content on their platform, so they still kind of win. Somebody had to pay for that. I don't know. I think I'm still weirdly stubborn like that. There you go. Titty Biscuits on the same plan. Chevy liked Mando, but didn't like Boba Fett. I think that... So, The Mandalorian, I think, had it a little easier than the Book of Boba Fett. And keep in mind, I haven't seen both, but I'm pretty deep in the Star Wars lore, or I was back in the day. You know, I read a few extended universe books. And those were of varying quality. Some were like legit movie quality, and some were like, this is glorified fan fiction. And this has the same relationship to Star Wars that 50 Shades of Grey has to the Twilight series. Heavily influenced. I actually need that, dude. I actually need that. Thank you. Here we go. I'm actually so grateful for that hydration. Thank you, Titty Biscuits. So the Hobbit movie is kind of padded, Hobbit said, Micah said. Doesn't need to be 3 movies, like more like 1. 2 would have been enough. Oh, nice. Okay, so maybe my suspicions were justified. Dude, I did have an extended rant about being molested by a cockroach earlier this week. And I'll probably just clip that, because I feel like... I don't know. I haven't gone back. I don't know. I'm not gonna like go back and watch. I think I was pretty concise. Long story short, all right. I'm not gonna be able to tell this story as good as the earlier stream because I feel like I really just nailed the energy and the anxiety of that. But Chevy, you have to understand that it was Wednesday morning. I had gone to bed at like 11 like a responsible human being. I don't often go to bed that early. 11 is early, way early for a bedtime for me. All right, so let's get that out of the way right here at the start. I woke up at like 1:30 as Zeta tells it. And Zeta said, like, she murmured something like, something, I just felt something on my forehead. I was like, okay. Well, I was sleeping, so like that's weird. And then I'm trying to go back to sleep. I'm trying to go right back to sleep because I'm pretty drowsy. And then I don't even know how else to put this. Like, I just felt something crawling up the inside of my leg, like right up the inside of my thigh. Like, I don't care who you are. Like that is a profoundly uncomfortable situation. I'm not even like big on bugs. Like I'm cool with bugs. Like me and bugs are totally chill. If there's one in the house, I'll usually slide it onto a piece of paper and like run it outdoors. But when I'm half asleep, yes, full on panic mode. Random Swee, good to see you, buddy. I'm in the middle of a story. I'll get to the new info, baby. And so Zeta just sees me. I immediately start freaking out. Like I'm kicking the covers off, just like throwing them up. And yeah, Xtanium, if you just like can want to chill out on the caps lock, you're good. You're good, man. I get it. But yeah, I immediately start freaking out. This thing is like running up my leg. I don't know what it is. And I'm just like immediately dart to the end of the bed, turn around and look back at the covers. And this cheeky big cockroach. This cockroach is like a full-on 5 centimeters long, like two full inches. And it's just sitting like right next to my pillow. My pillow! And I felt violated. Not just because I was being sexually harassed by a cockroach. Yeah, that's how I put it last time. It was the size of a small poodle. This thing was huge. Just an absolute like mama cockroach. This thing could have walked into a gas station and ordered beer, and the guy behind the counter probably would have been like, yeah, you look of age. Chevy! Oh, do I have to start again? Okay. Look, man, long story short, 1:30 in the morning, I wake up, and I have the sensation of something running up the inside of my thigh. Like, I panicked, I threw the covers off, I stood at the end of the bed, and there was a giant cockroach, just the size of a small dog, sitting on the bed, next to my pillow, just staring at me defiantly. Just like, I dare you to make the next move, punk. And so I know that my girlfriend is not going to be able to sleep. Yeah, I'll make a highlight. An Xtanium, dude. Okay, kill the caps lock, buddy. Oh my god, I don't got the energy, man. I don't got the energy of the original stream. I'll clip it or make a highlight or something. It's basically like I spent a solid 40 minutes just like running around my house, running around my bedroom, moving furniture, trying to kill this cockroach. When I had work in the morning, I was super angry because like I had work in the morning and this cockroach was keeping me awake at night. And then I finally just like smashed the thing. But yeah, it was just like running straight up my leg. And I was molested by this insect, and it was not pretty. Ultimately, I brought down the hammer of the gods on him, which is I brought down a giant shoe. Not a giant shoe, it was a small shoe because they have to fit my feet. Smashed the thing in triumph, and then I couldn't fall asleep for like the next 2 hours. Oh yeah, I got out a bug zapper, like a bug swatter. I tried to swat it. I did swat it. I electrocuted it, and it still wouldn't die. It ran through a puddle of insect poison that Zeta sprayed down, that my girlfriend sprayed down on the ground. Still didn't die. It was literally sizzling. It was like popping. It was just like, it was like that scene in The Green Mile where they put the, they fried the guy in the electric chair, but the sponge wasn't wet. So he's just like cooked in the chair. Just like absolutely horrific sound. And it just walked away like nothing had happened. Smashed it with the shoe. It still did not die. And then I had to smash it again, and finally it departed this earth. Oh my goodness, it was so much. And then I just like stared at my phone for the next hour and a half because I couldn't fall asleep because I was so amped up. I was just so amped up. It was a lot, dude. They're built like tanks. There were cockroaches of similar design 300 million years ago. Like, we still found these guys. And you know how we found them? Because they're indestructible. 300 million year old plus cockroaches still existing on this planet today. Probably like deeply embedded in amber, like John Hammond's, Jurassic Park mosquitoes. It was unreal. It was incredibly frustrating. And it's also just a really good story. Can't they survive a bike? That wouldn't surprise me. Just like roll over it fast enough on a bike, the cockroach would probably be like, whoa, that was weird. What happened? Oh, can't they survive a nuke? They say that yeah, they can survive like absurd amounts of radiation, like certain species. How the hell does a bike turn into a nuke? Like, Extanium, haven't you ever heard of a bike bomb? I feel pretty good about that joke. I'm chuckling to myself. Yeah, but B and N are right next to each. Yeah, no, that's valid. Oh, and I and you are as well. That's a sweet sentiment. And it's also literally explaining how they got from bike to nuke. Book. Zeta does watch the streams. Actually, Zeta was just in the chat towards the beginning of this stream. I would describe Zeta as a regular. So she can hear me like yell and ramble from the other room typically, and she could still like pull me up on her phone just to hang out. I don't think that like pads my viewers or anything, because anything that comes from the same IP address, I think Twitch just treats as one person. She hasn't met you yet. What? If you're in every stream, and she's in most streams, I feel like you've met her. Yeah, she's PKN Zeta. This is solid. I'm off to a solid ramble while I'm doing nothing but just clearing dirt. I still feel like this is halfway interesting compared to what I was doing this morning, which was just a whole bunch of placing random path blocks. And I'm thinking about what I have left, like what I have next on my to-do list. And I think I'm kind of dreading this, but I kind of want to make a standardized nether hub, which means redoing all of my nether portals, making sure they're all on the same Y level, and having like a nice, beautiful, safe being the key word, center area in the nether to navigate all of my builds. Because like flying out to my raid farm on Friday just to show like the Ruby Cat that yes, I do have infinite totems of undying now. That was a long flight, dude. I was getting bored on that flight. And so I thought, oh, maybe. Ask Zeta. Yeah, you know, next time I see Zeta, she is out at Costco right now, so she is not looking at the stream. She's out doing a little. I don't know what Zeta does at Costco. I very rarely go with her because I find Costco to be a very stressful environment. Like I'll go to like the grocery store, you know. Costco hot dogs. And yes, Absent Crab said, of course, she is at Costco. Zeta exists in two places. She's either in the chat or she's at Costco. It's true. I bet. Okay, here's my guess. She's going to come back with 224 cases of LaCroix of various flavors. You know, that flavored, like, almost water? Sparkling water? There's too many people. Dude, I feel that. I don't know if I have general anxiety, social anxiety, or both. Probably both. Everything stresses me out. And, like, Costco is just so full of people. It's not even like a pandemic thing. Like, I was just like that before the pandemic. Like, I hated going... I've gotten a lot better about this, but, like, I hated going to the grocery store because I felt like everybody was looking at me. Which, how funny is that statement when, like, the whole idea about streaming on Twitch is, like, inviting people to look at you while you play games. I know. There's, like, just a little... I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's always, like... There's the separation of the camera. I can hit eject at any time. And I find that, like, inherently comfortable. But, like, I'm strolling around. I'm picking up my bags of bread and DiGiorno's pizzas and breakfast, you know, materials like eggs and sausages. And I just feel like every person with a cart's just being like, oh my God, he got the Johnsonville brats? Like, he's not good enough to get the Tyson brats? Wow. Which is so weird. Yeah, titty biscuits. Like, I haven't done... So, I haven't done, like, delivery. I've done, like, the pickup. When my local grocery store started offering the, just park your car in the assigned slot and we'll pick up the food for you, I started doing that for for a while, mostly during the pandemic for like COVID reasons, you know? But really, I don't know. I don't need to do that anymore. The reason why I stopped doing that was because I feel like that is the grocery store's way of getting rid of almost expired items. I don't know if like they just confirmed that or if this is just like my own conspiracy theory, but I feel like the local grocery store did that like curbside service just because it's like, oh, this meat is going to expire tomorrow and no one's going to buy it because they want to have flexibility in their food schedule. So let's just drop it off in this sap and parking spot too. Look at that. Titty Biscuits has experienced this as well. Or like you get some bananas and they already got the brown spots on them. Like, oh my God. I want these to sit in my kitchen for a while, bro. But it is super convenient. And I think I've gotten better. I've gotten better about just being able to go in the grocery store and just vibe. You know what else has only gotten better? Wolf brand chili, especially without beans. And you might ask, like, how could it even get better? Because it started out as perfection in 1895. Well, let me tell you, some things just improve with age. And in this world where so many things are changing around us on a daily basis, we went from telegraphs to radios to TVs to finally the great wide world, the internet. It's nice to have some things that are constant and just remind you of the good old days, which were not always all that great. But something that was all that great, oh, that's Wolf Brand chili. It stood the test of time, and it'll still be here in the future. Unchanged, perfected, and waiting to get in your belly. Wolf Brand chili. I'm not sure. I was going so strong there until that part. Wolf Brand chili, getting in your belly. Since 1895. All right, how about that sell, baby? We could fix a couple lines of that in post, and we could just send that off to ConAgra, and that'd be good. They'd be like, Shasta, we don't typically like talk about our customers' bellies. If you just like pull back on that one, I think that would be largely workable. Titty Biscuits, that is rarefied air. People who have burned 75,000 bowls of chili on this channel just for the notoriety of wasting it. Dude, Micah Ilberry has done it twice. Kilberry has done it once. Is this true? Is the only people in the chat who have done it? The waste of points are Ilberries? Haha. Info from Random Sweet. Ask the Craftsman, what info do you have for us? We demand the facts. We demand the facts. Oh, that's right. Thor did do it once. And let me see. Do I have any fresh Steam Deck info? Well, somebody in my local... I think it was just a typo, Absent Crabsent. I think Random Sweet just tagged you instead of me. But, someone in my local Discord, their boss has 3 Steam Decks that he was sent for testing. And I'm just like, give one to me. I just want to put my hands on one. I want to know somebody locally who has a Steam Deck just so I can hold it, judge the ergonomics for myself, see how balanced it is in the hand. You know, I'll be like Thanos testing out that knife, you know, just like holding it on one finger. I've been working out my fingers just like, you know, with like the little barbells, just so I can curl the Steam Deck. Okay, so let me explain to Xtanium what exactly a Steam Deck is. So if you're familiar with the largest PC gaming storefront, it's Steam, which is done by a company called Valve. And while largely being a software company, they became a hardware company as well in about 2013. But yeah, it is a handheld PC. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a PC that includes a touch screen. There's like controls on either side of it. It's got touch pads that you can use like a mouse. Oh, and Xtanium, let me tell you, if you're in the US, it starts at $399 US. And there are additional, you can get expanded memory for $529 and $649. But yeah, it starts at $399. That'll give you 64 gigs of storage, which you can expand with a micro SD card. So, 64 doesn't sound like much, and it's not, but you can expand that bad boy. So, that is a complicated question. There are a few games that it cannot run due to anti-cheat issues. But like, if you're playing a competitive shooter on the Steam Deck, like, I don't know what to tell you, because like, competitive shooters are born to be played on keyboard and mouse, not really the target market. But yes, like Extanium, it plays Elden Ring, for example, which just dropped. It plays like current AAA games. But that said, it's running a Linux operating system. It can play most Windows games via a Windows compatibility layer, but it's not perfect, and it will only continue to be perfected as time goes on. I feel like that is the fully fleshed out answer. Oh, Titty Biscuit's on the pre-order thing. But Titty Biscuit says, I feel like a laptop is a better value for me. And, Random Sweet was saying the same thing, and I think that there's a lot of truth to that for a lot of people. Like, I already have a laptop that I do not game on, so I don't need the Steam Deck to be a laptop replacement. But also, I think that its form factor being a handheld instead of like a laptop, which you need like a mouse or a controller, like a separate peripheral to comfortably play with. I feel like the Steam Deck very much has its own niche that it fills. Chevy, that's another reason why I didn't join your giveaway, man. Dude, okay, I think the last time I checked, this is shameful. Like, the last time I checked, I had not even installed once. I have 450 Steam games about, and probably about 2/3 of them I haven't even played. They have like under an hour of gameplay on them. So like, there was a period when I first got Steam where I got really into Steam sales. I was like, oh my god, I'm never going to run out of games. This is the coolest thing. Skyrim for $5? I just never played Skyrim. I've stopped buying Steam games. I've stopped buying Steam games just because like I have to immediately be ready to play them. Otherwise, I'll just never touch them. So you can gift Steam games to people, wink, wink, if you have not already redeemed them for your account. So if Chevy has, like, for example, Rocket League on his Steam that he's already assigned his account, he would never be able to, like, gift that to you, Extanium. Just as a random example. But I legitimately wasted so much money on Steam games that were on sale that I will never buy. And learn from my example. If they're on sale and you will not buy them immediately, probably just hold off. Actually, I would just oh, that's true. Oh, Chevy's got that library share. That is a feature on Steam. Random Sweet. So what do I think about Terraria? One of my coworkers actually was just telling me this last week that he was really into Terraria. Still is. So I had a conversation with him about it, and I'm a little more up to date on Terraria than I otherwise would be. And I think just the 2D, this is super unfair, but like my brain is unfair. The 2D nature of Terraria caused me to like kind of lose interest in it. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, like what Minecraft is. That's still open? No, it's now shut. Extanium's he's logicking his way into Chevy's Steam library. And of course, well, you should probably keep your eye on your Padawan, Chevy. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. I try to I don't always hit the mark, but I try to have a pretty pleasant just stream environment. Both me and, the people who hang out here. Yeah, I've heard that Terraria has more bosses. It has more variety. Like, there are so many more, like, blocks, things you could do. Like, the amount of content in Terraria that's been added over the past 10 years is just, like, overwhelming. And I get that. And I should really give Terraria another try, because the last time I played Terraria was 2014. Steam may not reflect that. I may have, like, installed it after that at some point, just like test something out real quick. But the last time I played Terraria was 8 freaking years ago. Chili man, very swag. I'm trying. I think I'm well past the swag part of my life. I've got this hot pink flat back baseball cap that I wear sometimes on stream, and like that's as swag as I get, baby. Oh man, I thought I had my ad set up. I thought I had my ad set up to like only play at the beginning, and then you guys just like, you know, you don't get another one. Do I have time to talk for 5 to 10 minutes after stream? Is it like a conversation that can't take place on stream? Because like that's one of my things. I usually just when I communicate with you all, it's just like in a very public setting. That's what I aim for. You know, I'm not too crazy about side channels for various reasons. Would be better to take it after. I see. I'll consider it, man. Welcome back from the ad break. If there was that's their sneaky way of actually justifying subs. That's Twitch's sneaky way of trying to justify those. Just like, we're gonna keep shoving these ads down your throat until you pay up. Because like even a pie hole, like Amazon's gotten really adept at getting around even like IP-based ad blockers or DNS-based ad blockers. Now they serve the ads from the same servers that you're getting like this stream content on. So it's very hard to block them, even with like the variety of ad blocker solutions we have nowadays. Which, you know, I don't necessarily condone that kind of thing because, you know, I'm using Amazon's tech and servers and, you know, Twitch's tech and servers. So, you know, I'm glad this is a free service, a service that can be offered for free. I can't criticize too much. I feel like ads are a necessary evil. There was a beautiful, beautiful time in the internet, though, where it was just like you had to be in the know to get AdBlock Plus back in the day, now uBlock Origin, and still websites would get like a good cut from the unwashed masses who had no idea that you could block those little Farmville ads in the corner. Oh, those were the days. Times have changed. Internet's gotten a little more locked down, a little more of a walled garden. More and more content is locked behind a few major players. We had it all, man. We had it all. What else do I got? Oh, man. Seeing Star Wars last night. I'm not done. I'm coming back to that topic. I'm not done with it, dang it. They had, like, pieces from clearly what was clearly somebody's personal Star Wars collection, where they had, like, full-size Luke Skywalker pilot helmets next to a full-size Stormtrooper helmet, next to a full-size movie-quality Darth Vader helmet, like in a glass case. Some members of the 501st was there, which is Vader's Fist. It's a real-life Stormtrooper squadron with, like, movie-quality costumes that raised a lot of money for charity. Like, the 501st seems really goofy, and it is, but, like, it's passionate people raising money for charities. That's dope, dude. There's also, like, a Mandalorian unit now that the Mandalorian, like, has broke really big, where, like, people are dressing up in, like, Boba Fett armor. So, hey, fair enough. I think they're all associated. They're probably, like, some of the same people. There's clearly a lot of overlap there. But that was pretty cool. Zeta got her picture taken with a few of the stormtroopers. She said hi again. You know, she was catching up with them because these stormtroopers were probably the ones that were at the 5K run that we did that had random members of the 501st waiting for us at the finish line a few years ago. Oh, I never quite finished my ramble about like how Boba Fett, the story of Boba Fett's like at a disadvantage to the Mandalorian. Just in like the fundamentals of the series. The series is the Siri. Just because Boba Fett is probably like the primary driver behind the original Star Wars expanded universe. Like, everybody thought, oh my god, this guy's like 2 lines in the original 2 movies he showed up in. Like, even Darth Vader listens to him. This guy must be the ultimate badass. I want to write some stories about this guy and his bounty hunting ways. And so much has been written about Boba Fett, and his backstory has been rewritten a couple times, like even before the Disney arc, the Disney line on, what's canon and what's not. So like, it's tough to humanize such a quiet and mysterious character. It's tough to flesh out his backstory because like that's the benefit of being a quiet protagonist or like anti-hero, is that the audience can look at that blank helmet and they can put whatever story, whatever impersonality, whatever anything they want onto that blank face. It's a canvas for the audience's own imagination. And you take that away by having this, defined backstory for him. And so I feel like any Boba Fett series would be kind of ripe for disappointment to begin with. That's tough, man. That's really tough. Like I would not want to be in those writers' shoes. Where the Mandalorian, badass, he looks like Boba Fett, but he's not. You could do anything you want with him. Come on. He's got a child that looks like Yoda, but he's not. So you can do anything you want with them. It's the Mandalorian is set up to really capitalize on people's nostalgia, but not in a way to like ruin that nostalgia, That's my thought. Before, I haven't seen either series. Once again, just out here rambling like a dumb. But I feel like there's some weight to that. I don't know. Just me? Just me? Probably just me. Okay. Wonder how this is looking. Let's get a look. I'm gonna try to imagine what this arc is going to look like once this is all river. Did I do a pretty good job? That looks pretty natural, right? Unlike last time, and unlike most of my projects, I'm actually taking periodic screenshots of this dig. Just because I do this in real life too. Like whenever we clean the garage, we're like, man, I wish I could envision what this looked like before we did this. And I do the same with my Minecraft projects. But this time I actually took a before photo to compare with the after. Titty Biscuits, this was a while ago, but did you wind up picking up the Boba Fett helmet? Or just like, you just saw it and was like, man, that's cool. I'd probably do the same thing. I'd look at the Boba Fett helmet and I'd be like, that's cool. Heck, man, I don't have enough room for my own Star Wars memorabilia. Like all of those Lego Star Wars ships from my childhood. Those are all just packed away in a closet right now because I got nothing to do with them. Let's see, I will want to remove these because you don't want just like a 1-block cliff face, basically. Again, this is all going to be filled in with water by the time I'm done with it. I think this part's fine. This is unnecessary, so see ya. Yeah, man, I gotta sit down and watch Book of Boba Fett. And The Mandalorian, for that measure. I keep saying I'm going to. I should ask my buddy for his copy of The Hobbit too while I'm at it. Can I borrow this for another 2 years? Thank you. Oh, wait. Keep that one there. Drawing out this coastline, baby. Oh yeah, I wish I could remember his name. This streamer that I was watching, he was, like I was saying, he was in his hardcore world taking on the dragon today. So that was exciting. It was a lot of fun being on the other side and just kicking back and watching him freak out over the things that I freaked out about. And ultimately, he did it. Like, he did it right. He was prepared. He had, like, feather falling boots, and he was actually like me. He just had netherite boots, and that's it. And he nailed it. And he, unlike me, he confidently went to the end cities and got the elytra. So I feel like this wasn't his first rodeo. This is a really pleasant and entertaining part of it. Man, if you like that sound of dirt breaking, like, this is some ASMR heaven, baby. Oh, yeah. This is intense enough that even with my diamond tools, I still have to go back to the end on occasion to heal them up, hit up my Enderman farm, and let mending do its work. Am I full? No, not quite. Not quite. I was like, already? I know this thing digs fast, but whew. I've also been reading a little bit on Elden Ring. I mentioned it before in the context of it running on the Steam Deck, which is super hype. It's awesome that, like, this Windows compatibility layer is getting to the point where, like, AAA games are launching, and on day 1 or day 0, in Elden Ring's case, they're already, like, Steam Deck verified and ready to run out of the box. Like, that's a level of completion that back in 2008, when I first got started on Linux, I never would have saw that kind of completion coming. Like, that's crazy. Granted, we are like 14 years in the future. God, I'm old. But still, man, that's hype. That's so hype. But I've seen enough of Elden Ring to know that it's not for me as well. Like, not my style of game. I think I just get, like, super frustrated. That begs the question, what is my type of game? I'm still out there looking. This is where, if Alpine Giant was watching, this would drive him crazy. I never realized how slow a diamond pickaxe could be until I had to clear out all this stone. Like, we're through the easy part, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into the thick of things. The tough to mine of things. Challenge mode. Maybe, I think that I probably... Okay, here's the conflict that I'm weighing while I'm rambling on stream, right? I have plenty of sand. I have plenty of TNT. I have 3 separate farms that give me gunpowder. So I have over a double chest worth of dirt and stone and cobblestone. So it would kind of make sense to bust out the TNT here. That'd be faster. I also wouldn't get all these blocks, and I kind of think that, like, the deeper I go into this hardcore mode, this hardcore world, the bigger builds I'm gonna want to do. So it's like, I kind of want to keep. I want to collect all this stone. Oh, this is exactly how it always works. I just want to collect all this stone because what if I need it? I probably will need it. Let's be real here. At some point, just not today. Gosh, it's dark outside. But it's cool, man. I'm vibing, taking it slow. This is all part of the process. But like I was saying last stream, maybe this is encouragement to getting my microphone stand branding on stream. Yeah, maybe this is encouragement for me to start up one of those like easy wither farms. I think that'd be pretty hype. Once again, welcome to being active in the chat. The poster of the NVIDIA bread video, which I did watch, by the way. I also watched that video that Random Sweet posted about the Ryzen 6000 series, the new laptop chips. Which, oh my god, looks pretty hype. The one time, Quanticon decided to force two of his buds to slave their time away and mine an area of 100 by 100 by 100. Yeah, and you barely made the 10% mark. I believe it, dude. We mentioned Thor the Viking earlier in the chat. When Thor and I were playing on the Humble server together a billion years ago, we decided that we would build this. Here was the plan. Okay, we would build this massive like inverse pyramid. We would dig this inverse pyramid into the ground. So like it was a cone that all came down to one point, and this thing was huge. Not, let us clarify, 100 by 100 by 100. I think it was probably like maybe 40 to 50 blocks in diameter. But just digging that thing out, one, I think it drove Thor away from the Humble server completely, because he was just like, why do we do this? And I don't blame him. And the other was like, there was another part of it. I wanted to recreate a cone floating above it. Like this cone of dirt and stone was just rising out of the ground, like random floating blocks here and there that looked like they just fell off. While this whole thing was just like Dragon Ball Z style rising out of the earth. I want to have a big floating island floating out of this hole, basically. And this is when the build height was not that tall. So, very ambitious of me, and it was just too much. It was too much even for me. I was like, bro, I got other hobbies. Barely. I can't do this. And I think I was still working on it by the time that that map allegedly got corrupted. So we had to start anew. All that hard work on the Humble server had to start fresh. And that was always like a continual debate on that server, and on a lot of servers, I think. It's like, when do you do a server reset? Because like, if you reset too regularly, then you get a bunch of nihilistic players who are like, well, what's the point of doing anything? Like, this is all going to go away. I'm not going to stockpile items. I'm not going to build things. I'm not going to play. You're just going to restart it. But the other side of the coin is you have a growing group of players that like, well, you know, I'll just play the next time the world gets reset. These people have played for a long time. They're too advanced. I'll never keep up. Is that the video that I was talking about, Random Sweet? That's a different one. That's the crab rave. Why did I mute that tab? Oh no. Okay, guys, I'm not going to be watching videos throughout this entire stream. Every Minecraft music disc played together. I'll listen to this sweet jam. Unmute that tab. Wait a minute. Why does it say suggested Rick Astley never gonna give you up? Is this a Rickroll? It is! Before I get muted. That's awesome. YouTube gave it away. Like in the top right corner of the video, it said suggested videos. I didn't look at the whole thing. I just clicked it, and I legitimately thought it was like all music at once, and then I got a little toast indicator. No, it was visual. I got a little toast indicator in the top right of the YouTube video that said, suggested listening, Rick Astley, never gonna give you up. It wasn't me! All right, on to the next Shulker box. Oh, I probably need one of those. This is one thing. Here we go. I am not used to having a microphone stand that cuts all the way across my desk. So, it does complicate things a little bit. Oh, 2 in a row. That wasn't enough. Random Street was like, you need a powerful pole, son. That ain't it. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what's not hydrating, but pairs well with a nice hydrating sip of water? That's right, Wolf Brand chili. You know, water's been around basically since the beginning of the universe. It's just, H2O, baby. Basic formula. Well, the formula for Wolf Brand chili's a little more complicated, but nature does a lot of it for us. So if you want a nice, good taste of nature that goes back 5 billion years, try Wolf Brand chili. It's been since 1895, but this kind of perfection has been around since the beginning of time. Oh! Oh, that was smooth, rich, steamy, and wolf brandy. If I do say so myself. Am I allowed to compliment myself? Gonna do it. That was just a three-peat there. Hydration, sell some chili. I'm down to the task, baby. Type in chat, you say. An MC and Twitch chat. I mean, okay. LOL. Oh, that's spooky. Hello, is anyone there? I typed it. It's just behind my shoulders. Give me a reaction if it said yes. No, dude, I would. You would not see my reaction. I'd start Alt F4ing everything. I would like close it up. I'd close up Minecraft. I would just turn my PC off and throw it in the dumpster like Ron Swanson. I'd lose my shit. I've seen enough of those Herobrine videos from 2010. Notch's lost brother, like haunting his brother's code or something crazy like that. That's totally like those are like modern ghost stories. That's perfect. Like, you know those grade school books, spooky stories to tell in the dark? Herobrine would definitely be one of those in the modern day version of that. It's a legit spooky concept, especially playing on my crap school laptop back in the day, where like the whole world was shrouded in this strange fog. Just, you could just imagine a eyeless Steve peering out from the haze. Too much, man. I might. So what I'm going to do here, this is also not going to be a sheer cliff face like you see right here. I'm going to re-add like a very steep slope, but more natural looking. It doesn't look like, a giant shark took a bite out of this land. I'll clean it up. It's kind of the same issue as me making my path up there this morning, is that it's really tough for me to place random blocks. And it's going to be really tough for me to, randomize my block placement here in a way that makes this look halfway natural. Dude, I don't have a trident because I'm not Ariel's dad. I'm not a seafaring man. Look at me. I'm on the land. I don't need a trident. I'm not Brick and Anchorman. I got a sword. I got an axe. And I got a blue cat totem of undying in my left hand at all times. I got everything. I got everything I need. I don't need no trident. What is that, a toothpaste brand? Trash item. No, I don't have it. I don't have a trident because, like, I've seen, like, maybe 10 trident drowned that have, 10 drowned that have a trident. I wish that was something I could check in the statistics. Let's go in there real quick. What's this look like? I've never been killed by any mob. That's cool. So I've killed 48. I've only killed 48 drowned. And when you consider that, I think Alpine told me that 6% of them have tridents. Like, that's not too crazy. I just don't spend a lot of time in the ocean. I think that's what's behind that. Check Twitch DM. Why are you DMing me on Twitch? We're all right here, man. Why couldn't you just like post that in the chat? Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. What do you mean laziness? You're right here. That's just inconveniencing the rest of the chat. They're just seeing me like stand around AFK while I'm checking my DMs. You move in mysterious ways, Xtadium. What else, man? Oh yeah. So the one final detail about the Star Wars movie night that happened last night at my local theater is that they had like a what would you call it? A mixologist truck. So like there was a dedicated stand that was selling these like cocktails and mixed drinks of the adult variety. Like any request that you made, they'll make it for you. And the event had these like custom plastic cups with lids that you were able to bring into the movie theater and enjoy your adult beverage while you're watching Star Wars on the big screen. And I kept laughing looking at them because they're sippy cups. That's all it is. It was like, you know, this big. Like it was not a tall cup, plastic lid. It was just a sippy cup. Mine was worse because I lack culture and I just got a beer. It just looked like it reminded me of when I was in the hospital and like it looked like a very unhealthy urine test. But it was a cool concept. Like I like the idea of a mixology truck. It was just, I don't know, something that I would do again for sure. 10 out of 10. Would mixology and movie again. Was that smooth? Was that smooth? I was trying not to acknowledge it, but like I was excited. The best thing is like you could redeem 20 of those hat swaps and well, I got all the material I need, baby. This whole wall behind my PC is just decorated with hats. I have a problem, as I've been very clear. Do I have any bug stories like outside of the roach? The roach is definitely the best one that comes to mind. I think that look at that, the man says that was smooth. I'm trying. Tommy, welcome. Good to see you. Hope you've been kicking ass this weekend, whatever that may entail. Bug stories. I mean, I don't know. So like I grew up on a farm. A hobby farm, you know. My parents weren't like farmers by trade. It's just something that my dad did for fun. Basically. You know, it's always good to have a hobby that makes like a mild profit on the side. Cows, chickens, that kind of thing. And I don't know, this isn't like an interesting story. It's just that like we lived across the street from a cornfield, and in the summers, like June, July, then that whole field would be full of lightning bugs. Fireflies is what they call them in some parts of the country. You know, little iridescent, like light up butts on these bugs. And so me and my siblings, we would get one of those plastic gallon ice cream bins and cut holes in the lid to give them air, you know, and we would just fill that translucent plastic ice cream bin full of these lightning bugs. And then we just like stick them by the bedside. And so like we'd have a glowing, you know, living nightlight next to our beds, basically. So cool. Like every time I see a lightning bug, I just think of my siblings. Think of those ice cream bins. And then we would just like take the lid off in the morning, and then they would just fly off and, you know, hopefully not be dead. So I don't know, that's a bug story. I don't have too many run-ins with them. Like I said, like whenever there's a bug inside the house, I usually like get a piece of paper or just put them on my finger and just walk them outside. Sometimes they'll freeze to death out there, but it makes me feel better than just, at least that gives them a chance, you know? Oh my gosh, and also like, you're familiar with ladybugs, right? Those red bugs with the black heads? got the black spots on them. They're kind of round looking. Well, sometimes when those things lay eggs, they lay like thousands and thousands of eggs. They're unreal ladybugs in the procreation department. They're like the rabbits of the insect world in that sense. And so every so often we'd have what we called an Indian summer, which is basically like it got cold in October and then it got like summer warm for a couple weeks in November. And then all those ladybugs would think it was spring, and then they would just like burst forth, you know, and they would just cover the house with ladybugs. And they'd be inside the house too, like you couldn't get away from a whole cloud of these things just swarming the house. And I don't know if you know this, ladybugs on their elbows, on the elbows of their little insect legs, they have these little like bad smell producers. It's like they can fart from their elbows. And it smells disgusting. And so if you like poke a ladybug, they'll just like curl up in a little ball, and it's the worst smell ever. Like
Nice.
gross.
Fancy.
Yeah, no,
You
fancy shit.
fancy
Oh man.
bitch.
So
All
fancy.
bougie and shit.
Chevy, thanks for the sub, man. Thanks for being all bougie and shit with us. that is unnecessary, but very much appreciated. And I'm so happy that you are not seeing ads on my channel anymore. Tommy, $1,200 this weekend. That's some big money, baby. Nice. And where Tommy comes from, so many flies, it's disgusting. Oh, man. And I can't tolerate flies, man. So, okay, here's one growing up. We had flies, and we also had horse flies. And we also had horses. So, like, I don't know if horseflies are specifically drawn to horses or, like, what the origin of their name is, but maybe it was a coincidence. Regardless, we had a lot of horseflies, and horseflies are, like, house flies that are an inch big or, like, 2.5 centimeters long. They're huge. They are disgusting. They have these giant rainbow-looking eyes, and they bite. They bite you because they're spiteful little bastards. And so we had, like, a pool in our backyard, and we'd just be, like, maxing, relaxing, all cool in it, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then all of a sudden, you would hear that buzzing. And anytime anybody was in the pool, you know, someone would just yell, "Horsefly!" Like someone in a Vietnam movie yelling grenade, you know, and we'd all duck and cover immediately. You get below the water, and you hold your breath long enough, hoping that the horsefly would lose interest. But because they were bigger bugs, I swear they had bigger brains, because what they would do is that the horseflies would just, like, roam around on the surface, like flying in circles, waiting for us to surface so they could land and bite our shoulders because they were, like, evil, man. Just like the Darth Vader of horseflies. It is, Extanium, it is a heavy, painful pinch, and it will leave a welt on your back. Like, imagine like a big mosquito bite that doesn't itch. It just, like, has a dull throb to it. That's what a horsefly bite feels like, and it is not pleasant, man. And just like, yeah, horseflies are terrible. But and regular flies, of course, them too are just like, it's a really unpleasant feeling to have a fly walking on you. I just feel like dirty. Yeah. Biting holes into your skin, like, if that's not enough visualization and imagination for you, Extanium, I don't know what to tell you. That's how it is. Do I have, like, pleasant bug stories? I don't know. Oh! My same buddy, who I borrowed The Hobbit from for 2 years. Actually. Back in the day, okay? I've told this story on stream, but it's been a while. Back in the day, we found a praying mantis. Praying mantises can get pretty large, too. Like, this is a big boy. And we named this praying mantis Glenn. It was bright tropical green. It was like the color of Tommy Luco's name in the Twitch chat. Just a really beautiful color, this praying mantis. And so we put it in my buddy's, like, empty aquarium, and that was just his pet for the entire summer. Just fed it flies. Oh, he's yellow to you. Okay, let me see if I can find a nice green praying mantis. And also pause my game so I don't die. Wow. There you go. Like, Any one of these. This is what Glenn looked like. We named him Glenn. It's just beautiful, right? And fierce too. Like those are, surely you're familiar with praying mantises. They have like a little blades on their arms. Look at that. Look at this guy T-posing. Look at that. He's establishing dominance. And while standing on a car tire. That's just badass. But my buddy Soy Sauce, he like dutifully yeah, he's dancing. He dutifully like fed bugs to Glenn all summer. Just tossed them in there. And we just watched in fascination as he would just like hold still, praying mantises like gently sway like this, like they're a leaf in the breeze, trying to blend in, not hold too still, you know? It was so cool looking. And then and then Glenn had eggs. Like Glenn laid a big egg casing right there inside of the aquarium. And that's how we found out that Glenn was actually Glenna. Which we probably should have seen coming. Because, insects and arachnids, the females are usually bigger than the males. This is all like one big Shasta fact moment. I'm throwing it up. Thank you, Marcia. I just had to say Shasta fact moment, and Marcia threw it up there. She threw it up there again. Well, she's going wild with these fact moments. Yeah, so Glenna had eggs. Found out that she was a mom, and then I believe that she died not too long after that, and tears were shed. She was like family for all of us. Extanium, you never met Marcia? So like, Marcia is like, if I'm Pat Sajak. Why am I making references from the 80s? He's still going. If I'm the Wheel of Fortune guy, and you got Vanna White up there looking nice in a dress, spinning the numbers around, then Marcia's my Vanna White. She's just off screen actually. She's my paid employee. I pay her in cans of Wolf brand chili. Just absolutely wonderful. She's the one who she sets up the lighting, fetches me coffee, and also brings up the Shasta fact moment gif. Yes, that's Marcia. Absolutely not a figment of my imagination, and very, very real, let me tell you. What do you mean below minimum? No. I mean, that would be a serious ethical and legal flaw if she was being paid below minimum wage, There's clauses for this. So technically, I can pay waiter money, which is less than minimum wage, as long as they make a decent amount in tips, which I make sure that she does. And clearly, if you've seen my villagers, yes, slavery is oh god. I need to pay maximum wage. And why don't I? Marcia deserves maximum wage. Ah, that's a lot of coal, man. Oops. Why are those there? Yeah. Maximum wage is food and shelter and air. Tommy's cracking the whip, just like I do on my villagers. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Zumi sent a... Oh, I see a message down here. Who is this? Oh no, it's Zeta. Zeta showing me... Oh, it's Costco going all in on Irish stew because we're coming up on St. Patrick's Day, of course. And so you could jump into the void and quickly equip your... Yes, you can, Extanium. That's also a fact moment, I suppose. You can jump into the void. Once you get below 0, you start dying. You start taking damage, and it's a very quick process. A very quick fall. And yeah, you can still like blast out of there. You can fall below 0, start taking damage, and then just pew. Oh, can I do it? Like, I mean, it's more like, may I do it? Am I right? The tips are the chili ads. Hello, Killberry. Are tips more Shasta facts? I mean, they could be. I don't know. The Shasta facts come from the ether. I can't just like call them forth on cue. I think that would be pretty impressive though. A lot of my facts recently have been just daily space facts, which are mostly like daily James Webb Space Telescope facts here lately. I mean, I got one for you. So the Hubble Space Telescope, which has been the space telescope for the past 30 plus years, still going strong. It's currently being used to scout out potential locations for its successor to look at. James Webb is still being calibrated. It'll be calibrated by June. And by that time, they want to have like some targets already ready. So Hubble is turning out, you can go to NASA's website and see these photos. Hubble is turning out beautiful, beautiful. Best work it's ever done photos by the day, like multiple times a week here lately, which is incredible. They showed one of 3 separate galaxies 380 million light years away. This light's from 380 million years ago. That's how long it took for the light to get to Earth. And it's 3 galaxies like colliding. So that's something that James Webb is going to be looking at. This next space telescope that's even more powerful. And this scouting image is just breathtaking. It's beautiful. That's a Shasta fact moment. Look at that. Marsha just bam, bam, bam on the ball. I don't know my skills either, Xtanian. That's dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous jumping into the void like that. You never know where you might end up. Potentially dead. Oh, but what else? Like it was... What else I got about the Hubble? That was definitely the one that captured my imagination. And you gotta understand that galaxies, like space is huge, right? So the nearest star from us is about, what? 4? Was it 4 light years away? Oh, I gotta look this up. This is embarrassing. Proxima Centauri, the closest star system to Earth. 4.24 light years away. And so when these galaxies collide, they just like pass through each other at first. Because like there's no collisions. Like stars are so small compared to the amount of space that's in between them that you get on average among billions and billions of stars like one object collision, one major object collision from galaxies running into each other. That's crazy. And that's exactly right, Tommy. If something's 500 million light years away, you don't even know if that thing is there anymore. That's the craziest part about, you know, what Einstein discovered, that space and time are 2 threads of the same fabric. So, like, the light that you see, every time you look up at the stars, you're looking into the past. Man, that captures my imagination. That just really gets my mind going. I still feel like I'm, you know, 8 years old and staring slack-jaw up at the night sky every time I do. It just takes me back. I mean, that was not a play on words. I mean, it literally takes me back because it's like time traveling. But, you know. Takes me back to when I was a younger Shasta. I still feel that same kind of like naive wonder that I did back then. And, you know, I'm a cynical bastard a lot of the time. So that's a nice thing. I cherish that feeling. Haha. Tommy says, but obviously there's a flat we live under a dome and the stars just projected light. Yes, yes, yes. Oh man. But it's so cool, man. It's so cool. That's why I'm really looking forward to James Webb. Oh my goodness, Xtanium, what kind of link is that, man? A cool plugin you have for OBS, huh? Oh, I have followage, by the way. If you want to type also, I'm advertising my commands down in my description, what commands I have available in the chat. Yo, that's the first time I've seen it happen live because, of course, I am not following me. But Xtanium's been following for 3 months, 4 weeks, 1 day, 17 minutes, and 28 seconds. Damn, Kevin! Just busting out the big guns. 5 years! 1 month, 2 weeks, 6 days, 44 minutes, and don't you forget those 4 seconds. They're very important. That is cool, dude. That's kind of spooky though, Extanium. Like I trust you, man, but it's a random link. All right, what's the worst that can happen? It's WeTransfer.com. It's a download, and it's an MKV. That looks like a video. Those are videos, man. I'm not gonna download a video. Oh, maybe like Nightbot has a cooldown? I know it's 10 seconds, but it's like I'm gaming, baby. I'm supposed to be providing content up here, not reacting to videos. I find that like when video links are posted, I'm in a very like uncomfortable situation. It's like I want to watch the video, but I also just want to keep gaming. Absolutely, yeah. That's what the Discord is for, man. Put that in the Discord. I'm down to have it there. I'll definitely take a look at it that way. Yo, why did Nightbot ignore Micah? That's some crap. Yeah, maybe it does have a cooldown. Ah, there it is. 4 years, 1 month, 3 weeks, 18 hours, 2 minutes, and 18 seconds. I love that it has it down to the second. Like, for a lot of you longtime followers, like that is totally insignificant. But like, it's there. That's some good data. I'm trying to think of like what OBS plugins that I would like. Like what do I feel like I'm missing? It's hard to think of too much. Oh hell, dang it! I'll click it. I'll mute the audio though, just in case it's loud. Oh, I can open it up in VLC. Oh, there's me. Oh, I'm embedded. Whoa, it's Extanium reacts to the Shasta. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. It's like a top to bottom time lapse. That's hilarious. Oops. Back to Minecraft, please. Back to the chat. Kiffness, jazzy glove compartment. Dude, if you want to post that in the music share part of the official Shasta 1 Discord, I will absolutely give that a listen off stream. Extanium, I'm always streaming at your dinner time, man. I enjoy that. Thanks for hanging out. He says he will be back. He doesn't have copyright. You can even listen to it here, but you see, I've been burned by that before recently. I don't know, man. My dude posting all of his stuff on Bandcamp in FLAC. That lossless, beautiful lossless high quality. And Bandcamp is just the ideal. That's the place. If you are making music, that's the place you want to host it. Probably not for popularity wise, but you know, music ownership is a pretty important thing to me, obviously. Even if I use Discord, even if I use Spotify in my day-to-day life. Man, if I buy something, if I buy some music, that means that like it means a lot to me. Nice, dude. Yeah, he's got that figured out. Spotify and Apple Music as well. Taking care of us audiophiles and music preservationists. At the same time, also appealing to the masses, the modern man. I like it. Yeah, I think that's just a great way to, one, have goodwill, because like people, if you put like a minimum $10 on your album, that's just a lot for some people. A music producer in South Africa before the pandemic. Wow. Still digging away. I got to get to work on that Disney musical, man. I'm going to be working through those songs after this stream. Just getting to be about time. I got to start learning some of those drum parts. Which I'm very excited for, but you know what's more exciting? Removing 1 block per second in Minecraft. Just amped up right now. Nice, man. So you got just like a couple degrees of separation away from this guy. Ay. Well, there goes yet another Shulker box, and this one already has some stone in it, so we might finally be time to offload all this ish. Yeah, this was like spare. You see, I've got a bunch of torches from lighting up that area. That's about that time. I could still pick these up. Night falls. Killed the jug! I'm not max hydrated somehow, but I've got all the hydration I could possibly get out of that bad boy. Still rocking the alternate universe blue jug. Just because I kind of get a kick out of it. Especially since I have the red jug in my inventory right now. I think I still need to wash the red jug. Oh, I gotta keep an eye on my pickaxe too. Wow, that's getting down there. So you and I, we have to head to the end sometime soon. Also, speaking of getting down there, we're kind of doing work on this, huh? Done what, like 7 layers? Yeah, wow. Max Hurl, Zol, Kifness produced that one. Dude, I love random music, new music. I love music recommendations because that means it's music that somebody is passionate about listening to. Which, that's all I need, because even if it doesn't like, even if it's not right up my alley, if it's something that challenges my music tastes, then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be like, okay, like what do they see in this and what am I not seeing? And can I expand my understanding of music to like relate to this, to understand it, to appreciate it? I love that shit. Music is one of the rare things that I can really break down from like a scientist or just appreciate as the art that it is. I still kind of break it down. I've talked about that before. It's just I think that anybody who plays a bass line of music just like naturally, you know, you listen for new things, basically. You're naturally drawn to like new things. It's like, okay, well, I've heard a Bo Diddley beat before. Bam, 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 bam. That's kind of boring, but oh, what's this guitar work on top of it? And I think that's a synthesizer? Like, there's some kind of electronica on top of it? Okay, that's interesting. Like, I love that kind of thing. Gotcha. So it's making fun about the politicians in South Africa because they prohibited alcohol and cannabis, Zol, during the pandemic. Oh, that's good. That's also another thing about music, is that music, you know, some people criticize, you know, oh my God, I can't believe he's getting all political with his music, but like, music is fundamentally political. Like, everything really is. You can stick your head in the sand about it or just like ignore the meaning and the culture and the environment that the song was written and produced in, but like it's all right there, man. Look at that. Beast in Black, Blind and Frozen. That's Metal with Synth. I'm not familiar with it, but I'll give it a listen. Hell, Tommy, if you just want to like post a song list in the music share part of the Discord, then we can all kind of go through them at our own pace. And I for one am down to listen. Like I said, I'm always hyped about new music. Oh yeah, do you have like a song list the way that you and your brother made that movie list back in the day? I don't know how I do this. My mind is like a claptrap when it comes to things being mentioned sometimes. And then other times it's just like sand through fingers. Same, like I go on kicks with like a certain sound, certain genres. But it's tough for me to be like, it's much easier for me to name artists than it is for me to name like genres. I think that's why indie is so fun for me, because it's just like, it's a total catch-all category. You're never really sure what you're going to get with it. These are my overflow chests down here. That's what I'm interacting with. I think that, like, this is why I need more storage, because it's come to this point and it's disgusting. Just random chests on my second floor next to the Walter White pizza. No shame in that, though, Quanticon. I feel like it's much easier to not pay attention to the creator when it comes to painting, unless you're Bob Ross and doing it live. But, like, I don't know, musicians are just so out there. You can't just, like, you can stumble across a page that has a painting on it, but it's really hard to, like, stumble across a song that you just don't immediately have access to the artist in front of you. So I guess that makes sense. Also, drawing that frequently, like being able to draw in general, is just so dope. It's just one that I've never taken the time to try and never really like been able to wrap my head around. I talked about this recently. Like, I'm just more of a writing comes super easily to me. I think that just words in general, that's definitely my forte. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily great at it. That's just what comes easiest to me. But it's got to be like deliberate words. It's not like I can't have a conversation with people. I mean, I can, but it's pretty rare. Dude, when I have a conversation where I feel like I'm really in the moment and just like, whoa, forgot this on the other side. Where I forget I'm interacting with another human being and it's just like a nice back and forth. Like, that's rare enough that when I get done with a conversation, I walk away and I'm like, oh man, that was pretty dope. Good job, buddy. But with writing, it's just like that. It flows forth like water or vomit, depending on your idea of my prose. I do have a cobblestone chest down here. Let's keep emptying these bad boys out. Apologies for the microphone jump scare there. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to my new desk setup here. Speaking of which, small adjustment. How did we get this much copper? Did we really? Like, how is this a thing? Okay. Fine. I'm not upset. This is good copper, man. Let's cook away. Like we're Walt and Jesse. Yeah, we'll let those go. Actually, we should probably like preload the cart a little bit. Because the more we preload this thing, the more evenly it's going to cook. It's going to reach the furnaces towards the end. Almost there. Or literally just watched that movie last night. Nice, Tommy. Looking forward to checking those out, man. So let me just compact down this. We did really good with coal. Like, coal is a premium in 1.18 worlds, of course. Look at that. Wow, we almost That's a solid chunk of coal we just added here. I'm happy with that. Okay, do I have any in my little lifeboat here? I do not. Good. How's about right here? Take those. Mind if I do? Nice. Even that double chest is full. We're crushing it, dude. This is more stone and dirt than I possibly have room for. Does it sound like I'm complaining? I am not complaining. This is awesome. I just gotta get that expanded storage space stat, baby. All right, let's head to the end real quick. Freshen up Silk too, because she is hurting. Tommy says, nah, but I have that all come out of memory, which is more exciting for me. So I can get that moment of joy in regards to, oh yeah, that song is really cool. But then you remember another one and so on. Ah, yeah. So he doesn't have a music list. That was in context of the movie list I was asking about. Doesn't have the equivalent for music, but yeah, I can see that being more exciting on the memory side. Because yeah, maybe it was like a Stephen King book. I think it might have been Stephen King, where said that just music it is like memory. Like people say that smell is the sense that triggers the most memories for most people. It's like you smell something and immediately you think of like Thanksgiving at your grandma's house, that kind of thing. But music is really the same way. It's like a time capsule sometimes. You're instantly transported to a place where that song just meant the world to you and you listened to it to death. The place where you first heard it, maybe. The things that were happening with, the song playing in the background. I think so too, Tommy. I mean, like, journal writing is a bit more literal way of preserving memory for me, but like music just takes me back to a time and place, depending on the song. This could be hella loud. Turn your speakers down, perhaps. Okay, I've given you enough time. Here we go. Now let's do this one. I know. This is the worst. Bear with me. We got 2 tools to fix. Pickaxe and shovel. Almost there on the silk touch. Come on. Look at this panic. Love it. Hey, we just hit 100 levels. Almost there. He was too close. He was just too close, okay? Don't look at me like that. Quantagon, I agree with that. I relate with that. Like, listening to music in the middle of the night, I think it's just like the lack of ambient noise. Oh god, that one's looking at me. The lack of ambient noise and just like general distractions. So, like, you're focusing more on the music. Like, I like to listen to music while I run just because, like, I can really focus in on the songs while I'm, like, lost in thought running. Oh no, we're stuck in the wilderness because my home bed was obstructed. And yeah, man, I'll listen to music like any time of day, but there's just something special about listening at night. I feel you, Tommy. Music keeps Tommy up. I can't have that. All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. Good talking to you. And hope you have a great start to your week. I'll catch you maybe tomorrow, maybe in a few days. We'll see. Helly! Titty Biscuits is back, baby! So, Titty Biscuits, you are in fact Booty Comrade, is that correct? Just want to make sure I got the name change right. There are some things where my mind is like a steel trap. Yes, that's right. Titty Biscuits. Just wanted to make sure I had it good. Well, you may make more money playing poker, you know, just, you know. I'm not giving you advice, but I'm just saying. I like how you went from the booty to the titty. Just, you know. No, I've got nothing to add to that. That's perfect. Oh man, I mean, I know how that goes. Like, it's really intimidating to speak up in a fresh community, and I don't know how to do that myself, really. But no, man. Anytime you want. It may take you a while. It may be never. Like, if you want to speak up, that's all you, man. I think that we're a pretty welcoming and inclusive community there. Where the hell am I? I've been flying in the wrong direction. The exact opposite direction, in fact. Comrade Biscuit gets what Comrade Biscuit desires. Indeed. Yeah, man. And if a community's like mean and horrible to you, then get out. We're active when you're normally asleep. Well, I don't know. I think that that's true. That may be true. I'm definitely active when you're asleep, but like most of my viewers are from Europe, I believe. You get the odd American in there, which is great because I'm also an odd American. Okay, this looks more promising. But we still got a ways to go. Oh boy. Yeah, when do I start streaming 24/7, right? Right, MSweet? Yeah, odd British. I like that. Okay. Quantagon says, edit videos and slam his face on the keyboard. Good day to you, bro. Good day to you, Quantagon. Always good to have you in the chat, dude. That's kind of the message that the guy who presented Star Wars last night was just bringing home for me. Is that, you know, sometimes it's good to be a little odd. Follow your folly, you know? You can take that too far, and then you hold up your spork and you become the Penguin of Doom. You know, moderation in all things, including moderation. That's not a bad philosophy. That's not a bad starting point. I think I spent just so much time, like in my late teens, just trying to blend in. And that's just like so counterproductive. You're just like holding down like your personality. Dude, I may never find my house again. It's negative 700. So it's over this way. Tommy's not going to bed yet. Oh, that was a sad existence, Titty Biscuits. Like I could have saved so much time if I just, you know, lived who I was. So I think that I'm a pretty I've got interesting things to say. I don't say I'm like all that often. I'm choosy with my conversation, I guess. There you go, Tommy. Dude, 2 more years of regular employment. But, oh, not going to bed? Because, oh, we're on music. Bro, I am just so freaking lost. I think I got to get back to negative 700. If I do that, we'll be good. Titty Biscuits, I've been there. Again, mostly my 20s. Have we explored this one? Oh, this is untouched. Y'all, let's get wild. Also, holy cow, let's get our Totem of Undying back in our hand. Oh, this is new. There's nothing in here that I really need. Whatever. I still wanna loot it. Woo! I have my bucket of water. Let's go. All right. We have successfully disarmed the bomb. Let's see what we got going on down here. Iron horse armor. I haven't picked up some fresh stuff of that in quite some time. I don't need the string. I don't need any of this crap, dude. I'll take the golden apple. Sand is now more precious to me than any mob drop. Oh, I'll definitely take the gold. I'm good on gunpowder too, dude. I'm good on emeralds. I'm good on TNT. But this is naturally generated TNT, so it's the good stuff. All right, great success. Yeah, man, I was a night owl for so long, just to my own detriment as well. It's the worst when you want to go to bed, but you can't sleep. And every so often I have one of those nights, but it's not like every night like it was a few years ago. Basically, I think the crux of everything that I've been talking about for the past 10 minutes is just I just spent more time looking the world in the eye. Instead of trying to run away from it. So it's just okay, so who am I actually? You spend a lot of your 20s, I think, figuring yourself out. And once I was able to start addressing some of those things, I was able to sleep a little better. Bro. I could have swore it was negative 700, positive 400 is where I'm at. I just blazed right by it. Let me see. Linux Gamecast. That sounds kind of familiar. OSCP is Oscorp, baby. Let's see, William Defoe. Actually, I'm something of a scientist myself. Bro, I healed up Wilbur and he's already a quarter done because I'm just flying aimlessly about trying to find my house. Wow. Lost Ark runs better on Linux than Windows. There is like the odd game that just happens to work out. I don't understand it. That's the same one, right? Okay, there's a village. Where am I at? I have this written down. My coordinates are positive 700, negative 400. I had my positives and negatives mixed up. Oh, man. Well, now we know where we're going. Oh, not Lost Ark, but Elden Ring. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, first things first, I'm going to sleep this off. Just that part of the clip. I mean, again, I'm so divided about watching videos on stream. Random Swee. Go. Well, we're going positive 700. Oh, it's about GOG. I saw that Lutris is already working on the Steam Deck. There's some work that they need to do to turn it into a flat pack to make it easy to install on the Steam Deck. That should probably be the route that is best to take to get GOG games on the Steam Deck, as far as my understanding goes. I'll have to watch the video to see if it's something fresh. This is so pretty. This is the beginning of the canyon, I think. No, it can't be. It is. So good to be home. Oh my god, I wasted so much elytra getting here. Offload some of this ish first. Not like it means too much to have a single emerald added to this massive pile. Yeah, I got specialty sand blocks in that one, just in case I get it filled back up. My humble TNT pile. Okay. I do have a great community, man. You all are awesome. Like, I would not keep streaming on Twitch if it wasn't for you guys keeping me company. Just like so much positivity, a good variety of like worldviews, and just a variety geographically. It's awesome, dude. I get so much from streaming on Twitch, and I get so much. I would get nothing from Twitch without you guys. So I should thank you guys for hanging out and being awesome. Chili Boy Cockroach Man is good community, baby. That's right. Okay, Random Swede. Just that part of the clip. Check and read the message that you see in the clip. Okay. There is no official GOG support on Steam Deck. I understand. But since the device is an open architecture, as we understand, you can install Windows and as such run GOG. Yeah, they don't even know that you can install GOG games on Linux and Steam Deck already. That was probably, I don't know, that maybe their customer support is not very informed on the subject and they just have like a script to read. I don't know. Oh yeah, you guys should also check out my firework collection. Bang. I spent a little time making more of those this morning. Got almost a double chest of fireworks. Okay. Something I need to remember. Set my spawn point before I head to the end. That's probably something I should do. So I don't have to go through that again, because ooh-wee! Wow, look, oh my god, it's coming together, guys. Yeah, look at this. Look at that. A little progress pic going on. You can actually see the bridge in its full majesty. All right, Absent Craftston, I don't know if you're still watching, but this was a good idea. You had a great idea with this. We only have, what is that? 4 more layers to go? Big hype. It's going to take me a while. It does. Like I think that this is oh, I forgot my shulker boxes. Potters! Is that like a mistype poggers? Yeah. I figured that's where you're going with that. Thank you, Tommy. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see this part of the project through. This world's kind of just overwhelming for me because I just don't get bored of it. There's always like another thing to do. And of course, I haven't even finished like all the advancements yet. I still got a ways to go. I don't even have netherite armor. But that's almost besides the point to like what we're building here. I might as well empty those out. And that. Oh, did I just read the response to GOG? Okay, let me check it out. Have you announced support for the upcoming Valve Steam Deck? Is that possible? I'll be reviewing it. Oh, it's Metal Jesus Rocks. I'll be reviewing it for YouTube when it launches, and I'd love to be able to play your amazing library on it if possible. Yeah, and there's no official GOG support. You could add, you can install Windows. It looks like, yeah, there's a Lutris reply underneath. I think they're going to get to the Lutris reply. Perhaps. Maybe not. Installing Windows is not a requirement to install and play GOG games on Linux, and installing Windows on a Steam Deck is not recommended. If you decide not to support Linux devices, others are willing to do it for you. If you do not have faith in Linux, we do. Woo! Lutris. Dropping fact bombs on GOG on Twitter, man. That's good. That's a good response. And I think appropriately, I don't know, indignant. I gotta get an extra bucket. That's just cruising around in my inventory. Actually, buckets go here. I've done a relatively good job of keeping these various equipment chests organized. Now is not the time to mix them up. Dude, Micah, why did Micah have to make this torta icon look so good? That torta's amazing. Both in taste and the appearance. Yeah, man, I don't think it really matters at this point. I don't think it matters if GOG is going to support Linux or the Steam Deck or not. Because clearly it sounds like they're not going to. And like Lutris said on Twitter, like, the solutions that the community came up with is already way better than anything that GOG would have came out with. I think that because GOG also has GOG Galaxy, and one of the big selling features of Galaxy is that it's supposed to detect your Steam install, your Epic Games install, various other launchers, and combine them all into one. You can launch them all from Galaxy. And that becomes a little less that becomes a lot more difficult on Linux, where you have various distributions with various file system layouts. I could see why that would be an intimidating task. Maybe that's what's keeping them from embracing Linux, even though GOG already offers native Linux games in their store and their website. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Internet death thingy. F. What, like your internet's struggling? Or, I mean, that's a pretty accurate term for Twitter in general. I'm going to log into the internet death thingy and post pictures of my meal. I don't know. This is so cool looking, though. Can't wait to have it all gone. It's going so much faster than I thought. Granted, I didn't even realize I've been streaming for like 2.5 hours, and it's just been disappearing. The conversation has been good. The work has been fulfilling. And I'm just comfortable for rambling and for extended periods of time today, apparently. The more you know. The day I learned. Tomorrow will be completely different. Oops. You can go back there, buddy. That's the beautiful thing about Silk Touch, though. You make a mistake mining, you could just put it back. It's okay. The clock at my place is it's a Timex. It's been here for about 5 years. It's about 6:00 p.m. Sunday evening. Getting close to dinner time here, Shasta Town, USA. Holy cow, Micah. You just disassembled and reassembled 3 different keyboards. You've been lurking for 2.5 hours. That's badass, man. Were you re-oiling the switches? Trying new switches? What were you up to? It's Monday morning for Titty Biscuits. Random Swee an hour ahead of him. Y'all are a bunch of night owls, man. Oh, I actually didn't see that. GOG Galaxy runs on Wine now, apparently. Yes, Titty Biscuits is now at the 6 hour of sleep mark. Man, once I get past like a certain time of night, then I just start looking at the clock and I have that exact same thought. It's like, well, got 6 hours if I fall asleep right now. Why can't I fall asleep right now? Okay, 15 more seconds wasted. What time is it? Oh, still the same minute. I can just fall asleep now. It's the worst. That's the worst. It's like a mental just awake spiral. Look at that. Micah's thinking about trying to sell some keyboards he have doubles of. Figuring the ones I want to sell with all things you don't mind selling. Nice. Good call. I bet you could, man. I bet that, like, not even if you don't find a sale locally, that's definitely something that someone would pay for on the internet. I know that, like I absolutely would have paid for the keyboard that you gifted me, but like, as you know, I would not have gone out of my way to build it. Like, oh my gosh, like I gotta post a picture of the keyboard that Micah made for me just like on my Twitch page permanently, just because it's custom to my channel. It's beautiful. It's a work of art. It has my Blue Cat logo as a badge up in the top right corner. It's like, it's above and beyond. Also, Titty Biscuits, if you're interested in keyboard builds, Micah Ilberry's Twitch channel is pretty awesome. Chairs, yeah, man. Like, I can't relate, unfortunately. Like, when I graduated college and I became a white collar, from home worker, my grandma bought me a very basic faux leather office chair, and I sat. That chair was disgusting, dude. By the time I was done with it, I used that chair for 9 years. All the faux leather had flaked off, so it was like this kind of UPS packing beige color. It looked absolutely disgusting, and it wasn't even that comfortable, but like my butt fit in it, so I would never buy a new chair. I was just stuck with that chair forever. So finally, my girlfriend, Zeta, just got so fed up with looking at that chair that for my birthday, I think it was 2019, she just got me a brand new like office chair. And I feel you, like chairs are expensive, Random Sweet. That's mostly why I never bought one myself, just because they do cost so much money, and it's very easy to like justify like sitting in the same one. That said, though, like especially with someone with chronic back issues like yourself, like a comfortable chair has to be one of the most wise investments that you can get. You want to be as comfortable as possible and alleviate as much of that back pain as you can. So I feel like that's one of those things that you kind of have to bite the bullet on at some point, you know? Yeah, man, don't get like one of those crazy bucket chairs. Like that shape is made for race cars, which is meant to like hold you rigidly in place for like 2 hours at a time. And that's not your, and it's also like laid back a little bit. So you do not want like one of those gaming chairs. You want something that is actually, like you said, ergonomic. I think you're already looking in the right place. See, that's what I was thinking. At least the one you have now is okay, but like, yeah, you gotta be putting your back first in your case, I believe. Yeah, if you can get like, sometimes, so Titty Biscuit says Herman Miller do really good, but they're very expensive. Sometimes you can find an office building like near your town that is redoing their office, and they will be selling mildly used Herman Miller office chairs on the cheap. And Herman Millers, I've sat in them. They're hella comfortable. I don't know if that would address your specific ergonomic needs, Random Sweep, but like something to keep in mind. Sometimes even on eBay, they do like these bulk office furniture sales. Not eBay, but Craigslist over here in the States. They'll do like these bulk office sales that sometimes have sales on those sales on those office chairs and office furniture. You don't have enough points to hydrate, so you use points to literally highlight the fact that you don't have enough points to hydrate. And I don't have any water. If only like I could access this Minecraft rain like right here, because I could just take the lid off my jug, open it up, and get a refill from nature. Yeah, dude, I would balk at 900 euros for a new Herman Miller. Like that's so much. That is so much. I couldn't do it. Hello, random trader. What do you think? I'm starting a village over here? Well, I am, just not yet. How is this not a thunderstorm? Come on, give me a little lightning so I can sleep. I think that's valid. Yeah, Random Sweet, if you can find a used Herman Miller chair for a great price, then jump on it. But it's I would have a tough time recommending to anyone that they buy a $900 chair or a 900 euro chair. I think that the euro still has maybe like 10% more value than the dollar. They're more equivalent than they used to be a few years ago at the moment. But anyway, my voice is kind of rough. It's been 2.5 hours. So what do you guys say we do like a 2-minute break so I can refill my water and we can get right back to it? What do you say? I hope you're okay with that because I'm walking away. Fixing a quick bowl of chili. Be back in 2 minutes. Cheers, y'all. Xtanium, welcome back. How was your dinner? Hopefully awesome. Oh, that's true about the Herman Miller chairs, Random Sweet. They don't have the neck rest. Hello there. That sounds like my reviews of dinner. Since I eat so fast, sometimes I feel like Thor in that first Thor movie, you know? Just slams down the coffee cup. Says, that was good. I want more. So hi, Ruby Cat. Good to see you. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. you don't have to apologize for being right back, unless you're apologizing to Ruby Cat. Well, what if Xtanium was like, "Oh crap, Ruby Cat's here. I gotta go." The plot thickens, Ruby Cat. Oh, if this doesn't tell a story. Just sitting around digging holes in the rain. It was pouring rain when we left Star Wars last night. Fortunately, that's all pretty well cleared up today. It's like that time of year, though, where it doesn't really matter all that much how rainy it is, because if it's cold enough, I'm not going to be outdoors anyway. Right, Random Sweet? Like, what you gonna do? Like, spend even more money to buy an aftermarket neck rest for your super expensive 900 euro chair? I don't think so. But that wouldn't be expected of anybody. Nice! The weather's actually been good today. Over the Isle of Titty Biscuit. Well, Titty Biscuit is a fantastic name. There's something just like... something I really enjoyed about Booty Comrade. Just like, yes, they are a friend of the butt. You see, I knew you did. I knew you did. I thought about saying it, but I was like, oh, it's been a while since they've mentioned where they're from. So, I'm gonna let them come out with that information. You have more names? You already have 2 Twitch names that you just knocked out of the park. You got more? Oh my goodness. I shouldn't be surprised, but I bet they are excellent. Well, if they're not Twitch, then, you know, be careful about just throwing them out there in the public. Don't want to, like, have people creeping on you, you know? So while I'd be entertained by that, you know, maybe stop and think before you throw those out there. Alright, Titty Biscuit says they don't mind. I want to get the disclaimer out there, you know? There's 1,800 euro chairs? What are they, made out of diamonds? Holy cow. Biscuit Dicks 420? Oh my. Of course it's still Herman Miller. Wow. Still, that's a lot even for them. Queef Master 2269. Oh my god. Well, if you're gonna be a queef artist, you know, you can't be an amateur. You gotta go all in. I was but a queef Padawan once upon a time. But now I am the master. Oh god. That's hilarious. That's like there was a whole era on Reddit back in the day where everyone wanted like an all caps name that said something like potato in my anus. That never gets old. Oh, but look at that. 420 bowls of chili. Blaze it. Whew. I ate some cheese crackers. Oh, I think it's actually nighttime now. I ate some cheese crackers while I was, while I was taking my break. And I think that gave me the hiccups. Wow. Oh my God. Being able to see, we've never been able to see the bridge from this angle before. It's so pretty. Look at that. Man, lowering the ground over here was the right call. I think I'm just going to keep saying that because it's never going to stop being true. What a pretty world. Cue Louis Armstrong. That was him, right? And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. What? No, it's symmetrical. You can't do that to me. I measured twice, Kilberry. The bridge is beautiful, flawless. Just buttoned up against that wall a little bit over there. No, it does bug me is that the railing is not symmetrical. Like the lighting scheme, you see I got them separated by 5. That middle part's separated by 6. Jesus Christ, titty biscuits. Something like 12 pluckmypubes.34 shut the door at gmail.com. Yeesh. I got nothing, man. That's something. See, I grew up in the don't talk to strangers era of the internet, you know, pre Facebook and all that. So I didn't have anything like that at all. My grade school email address was pretty innocuous. Oh, I see. Yeah, I should have seen what you were going with this. 1, 2, pluck my pubes. 3, 4, shut the door. Ah. I'm taking a sip of water just to cleanse my palate after that one. So cool. This I just not the email address necessarily. That's poor timing, but just reading this Discord. This local person who has access to 3 Steam Decks. And I won't have access to 1 for a few months at best. That's what's so cool. My envy is uncounted. Oh, it's truly like poetry, titty biscuits. I don't actually imagine it. Just it's all about the flow of the words. It's like a sonnet. Have I seen any new videos? Actually, the videos that I was watching. Oh, Titty Biscuits just pre-ordered a Steam Deck. Big hype, big hype. The videos I was watching this morning was all like antique restoration. You guys know those videos? There's a couple channels that do it where they just buy some old rusted like knives or a children's toy from the 1940s. Something that's all rusted out and just like basically ruined. And they just like take it apart. And lovingly, step by step, they restore it to its original state. And it's just really pleasant because they document every step. They got the audio turned up super, super loud. Like you hear every little scrip and scrape as they like remove the rust and repaint it and refinish it. Cut into the wood. Like it's kind of like a nice, pleasant background audio experience. So those are the videos that I've been watching. I haven't seen any new like Steam Deck videos since my last stream. I was kind of like, okay, that's a very pleasant launch. Everyone's pretty high on it. I was satisfied. Satisfied with what I saw. My excitement is still unbounded. And yet, I have to tragically wait. This is going to get really interesting once this cuts into that cave. Which I am getting... I'm moving into that territory. Still digging away. Dude, why... Should I be scared to ask? Why do your hands smell of gravy? Wait, what? Was this related to dinner? You know, that's not a bad thing to smell like. There are absolutely worse things, Killberry. What kind of gravy is it? Was it like a white sausage gravy? Was it like a red-eye gravy where they worked some coffee in there? Oh, it could be anything. Like, so many things are gravy. Just a brown, like, turkey stock gravy? Oh. Y'all, I always stream it around my dinner time, and I don't know why I do it. Maybe my brain's just a little sharper while I'm waiting to go forage for food. Okay, so that makes a little sense. Titty biscuits had gravy 4 hours ago, and that sweet, rich, delicious odor is strong enough to cut right through the hand washing. There are absolutely worse things to smell like than gravy. Yeah, but 4 hours, yeah, it's true. It's true. Some things linger, man. That must be good gravy. Good gravy! Who am I, Charlie Brown? Just like that, Titty Biscuits is waiting for a Steam Deck. That is hype. I cannot control my hype. Yes, I can. I'm keeping it in check. You're very scared of the link that was posted. Oh, it could be a Rickroll. It's true. Nah, Random Swede doesn't typically Rickroll innocent folks. His links are almost always, if not always, worth the watch. It's true. What if you got like just this is the time that Random Swede chose for the ultimate Rickroll betrayal. No one would see it coming. I just spoke to the veracity of his YouTube links. And this is the time. This is the time. That's guerrilla Rickroll warfare, baby. Warfare. Eating my words a little bit there. Moment. A nightlight was turning on, and I just couldn't have that, man. That to full screen so you guys don't see a black bar at the bottom. It's my ever-present professionalism I strive for on Twitch.tv. We're 3 hours in. Has the verbal faucet turned off in my brain? Excellent question, Killberry. So when I first was building this bridge, this was all this land here extended all the way out to, you can see like a continental shelf that's left. Basically, the land's extended out to here, and I decided that I wanted the other leg of the bridge to like go down into the river as well. So I brought the river to the leg of the bridge. However, there was then an ugly wall that went straight up like right here. Up maybe, I don't know, 10 blocks. It looked gross. I was originally going to cover one end of this, which is like tactfully place like flower beds to look all pretty and whatnot, and cover up that this is a raw cut of human-made wall. But Absent Crabson got me thinking that I could just follow the natural curve of the land right here, expand out the river a little bit, and just fully encompass the bridge. I know, I love the floating bed. Isn't that cool? You don't often see the bottom of a bed. Like I recall that one time, 2020, when we all saw the bottom of a cactus, which is a texture you almost never see. That felt like seeing Bigfoot for just an instant. Ooh. Yeah, ThinkPads have a great reputation. It's gone down a little bit since they were like picked up by Lenovo, but like I would still recommend a ThinkPad. That's just good business-oriented hardware at, like you said, kind of a more consumer-friendly price. Like my buddy's album that I recorded drums for over the past 3 years, that entire album was recorded, produced, mixed, and mastered on an IBM it was a Lenovo ThinkPad from 2012. And that thing was still ticking and still had enough juice left in the chamber to record and produce a whole album's worth of music. And that is not, that is computationally expensive, let's say. And it ran like a champ. Still runs like a champ. Ooh, yeah. Actually, the first PC that I ever bought, besides my school laptop, was I think it was an E-Machines desktop from like 2004. Something crazy like that. And that thing, like whenever the fans turned on, it reeked of cigarette smoke. It was gross. So I feel ya. Like you can get secondhand, and you know you can try to pick it up in person with your parents. See if it passes the smell test. Like, you know, don't entirely rule it out. Smoking is less popular than it used to be. That said, when I bought my guitar last fall, it was, oh gosh, it's been over a year now. When I bought my guitar, it came with its own like guitar bag. This had been in the family for like 20 years. Its owner had just passed, and that entire family smoked like chimneys. And like I couldn't bring this guitar bag into my house. I took the guitar out, I drove the truck to the dumpster behind our townhouse at the time, and I just threw the bag directly in the dumpster because, like, I wanted to puke, dude. It was that gross. Granted, you know, like, fabric holds smoke and tar better than, like, PC parts do. But, like, oh, I definitely feel you there. That was barf-worthy. It now has its own fresh case that does not smell like smoke. I've deep cleaned the guitar, so it smells like nothing but my terrible guitar chords. Eh? Actually, I like that there. Yeah, that's where the wall is. All right, titty biscuits. Sleep well. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I hope you get, an enjoyable 5.5 hours of sleep and pass out the moment you close this window. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, man. I feel like a laptop with a Ryzen 6000 GPU would probably be getting up there in price. You get what you pay for, of course, but every decision is a compromise, typically. Woo! I'm just ready to fill this bad boy in with water. Yeah, man. Like I said, I watched that video that you posted. And that seems like a dramatic step forward. I didn't know we were getting down to like 6 nanometers for the transistor size. That's outrageous. I know that Intel was stuck on like 10 plus for a few years there. And it sounds really nice. He was talking about this is such a dramatic increase in efficiency that you could see laptops, he said, I'm just going off the video I saw. You can see laptops with 24 hours of battery life. Like that is, no, man, that's crazy. That is crazy talk. But they reported that is legitimate. Maybe when my 2017 Asus Ultrabook kicks the bucket, maybe I can, maybe I'll be looking into something like that. Oh, I hate to even think about it though, because like I've budgeted for like future PC purchases, just like set money aside each month, and it's like, okay, this is going towards my next PC fund, this is going towards my next laptop fund. I went about it in a very responsible way, in my opinion. But this time, like, I currently do not have like any PC fund. So, if anything, knock on wood, man, because if anything on my laptop or my PC kicks the bucket, like, I just do not have the money set aside for a proper upgrade. So, long lives and low temperatures. Did you hear that, PC? That's what I need from you. And compared to my last PC, I babied this one, man. My first PC that I built back in 2013, the one I got started streaming on, that one, I took that one everywhere, man. I would keep the graphics card in, throw it in my trunk, not throw it, I'd gently place it in my trunk or in the back seat, laying down so the graphics card puts all of its weight on the motherboard rather than flopping back and forth. And I would just drive for hours with that thing. Like, I would road trip with my PC like probably 4 to 5 times a month. It's a miracle that that thing didn't croak as soon as it did. But this one, I've traveled a lot less with this particular PC, which is funny because it's like pocket size. Like, I wish I could show you guys my PC case, because it's not quite like a mini ITX, but it's close. It's super close. It's a very small, like, I can literally put my PC under my shoulder and just like carry it like a, I don't know, like a box. Like a delivery box. My PC case is small enough that one of the accessories I could have bought for it was a handle. Like, you can install a handle and just like carry it around like a briefcase. I thought that portability would be important, and then, I changed jobs and a pandemic happened. I travel with my PC a lot less. Been relying on my laptop a lot more, and soon I'll have a Steam Deck and not have to worry about that at all. Because it would be tragic if I had to crack into my Steam Deck budget to buy a new PC part or something. Random Sweet says, been looking into the 5000 series built in with only Vega. Not too pleased about that choice by the looks of it. But it's supposed to have up to 15 hours of battery. Really? Yeah, 10 in real life use. That's wild, man. Dude, that's crazy. That's worth it by itself. You know? 15 hours of battery, like that's basically your entire waking day, right? That's dope. My God, we're so close to getting this mine down, but we have so much more to dig. Like, this final stretch is so much digging still. Man, isn't that how PC parts always are, though? It's like the moment, I feel like, this is how it feels. Like the moment that you buy something, whether it be a new laptop or a graphics card or new sticks of RAM, the moment that you buy something and it's pretty near top of the line, like the next day the company announces something that's just like 20% better. That's just the nature of the beast. You kind of have to just pick a setup and settle at some point, because otherwise you'll just drive yourself crazy. There's always something newer, and there's always something nicer and faster right around the bend. But you know, Random Sweet's like, maybe I could just, might be worth getting compared to what I'm looking at right now. Where's my levitating bed at? Yep. Love how I just teleport up 2 blocks to get in bed. Makes perfect sense. Don't ask too many questions about it. Oh. See what this guy is selling. 2 leads for free? Don't mind if I do. I'm not sure if I've seen a little lily of the valley. Yeah, I have. I planted them when I was getting bees. Can't believe that's the same world. That feels like an eternity ago when I left on a mission to go get bees. That was like early January. We're coming up on March fast. I'm still just kind of taken aback by how this world is still going. So many close calls. Incredibly close calls. Down to half a heart at times. And we just crossed the 206-hour mark as of last minute. Wow. Like, you have something for me. That's interesting. I mean, I figured it'd be nothing bad. Like I said, you're not the type of guy to drop a Rickroll link on unsuspecting viewers. But like I said, I don't typically operate like one-on-one with with anything Twitch, really. You know? Basically, like I keep my like personal online profile and my Twitch separate. just because like I'm like, this is a more public platform than I'm used to using. So I typically don't do like, DMs or anything like that after streams. Just like good internet security practice, And then if I start making exceptions, it's a slippery slope. It's a really uncomfortable thing for me to talk about, but like that's kind of how I operate. I gotta, in order to keep like offline Shasta sane, like I gotta keep online Shasta at arm's length, There we go. If you got anything in here we can fill up. I don't think so. Nope. On to the next. How was my weekend? My weekend was pretty good. So, Zeta and I saw Star Wars in the movie theater last night, which I have not seen Star Wars A New Hope Episode 4 since I was just a little kid. So seeing Star Wars on the big screen again, like it gave me like I was just awash in memories of going to see it with my grandpa. It was just like it's how those movies are meant to be seen as well. Just oh my gosh, THX audio and the John Williams Star Wars soundtrack on theater speakers, dude, that will blow you back into your seat. Like I was so happy to be in that theater, and I think Zeta could tell. So that was pretty awesome. Outside that, just like a little, random cleaning here and there. I'm after this stream, I'm gonna be learning Disney songs on drum set, preparing for the theater gig I got coming up in a month. Had my torta yesterday. Life is good. Just keeping things, it was a pretty low-key weekend. Feels good. I installed this brand new microphone stand. It's now like, I wish I could like more easily use my webcam to show you guys the base of this microphone stand because it's nice. Yes, those are absolutely needed. And I think that I have a lot of chaotic weekends coming ahead of me, so something like this is really nice. Like I'm mentally preparing for the crazy ones, we got birthdays and weddings and friends' children being born. All sorts of craziness. Me and some college friends are traveling across South Dakota in an RV for 8 days. I think that's officially a go now, which is wild. It's good to pre-decompress. So can I stand now? I mean, I can stand. Yeah. Oh, I can. Yeah. Just, Actually, it takes the mic a little over this way, so I can't, like, directly stand towards the camera like I used to be able to. But I think that's a fair compromise for, how dang pretty and out of the way it is. Like, it's really, really nice, that microphone stand. It sure beats having it clipped to my second desk to my left, which was not a good way to do it, man. Oh, geez, it's been 4 hours. I don't think I've sent a Snapchat today. I maintain those streaks. Now we're good. That's the only, like, stupid Skinner box mobile BS that I allow myself to subscribe to. That I can think of off the top of my head. Got some long-running Snapchat streaks. So usually just, what that means is if I'm busy on a certain day, I just make a goofy face at someone and just call it good. Yeah, those things add up quick, dude. Gotta prioritize. That's never a good feeling. You need new phone, new desk, new chair, and other things that cost money. I feel ya. So, one more level, really. But then I want to dig this like at least 2 deep like I've done here. So in reality, we got 3 more levels to dig. A vacation and a 15-hour massage / spa treatment. Gilberry, I could recommend, it would involve you going to the 50th state on yours and Micah's 50 state list. But you know, I'm just saying, like, Hot Springs, Arkansas is not a bad place to vacation for that kind of thing. They got those natural hot springs. You can literally chill in those all day, moving back and forth between the different water temperatures they got going on. Granted, I think the other states probably can give you the same effect, and it's much nicer because you don't have to travel through Arkansas. But oh, I feel that. It would be really funny to be a fly in the room for me getting like my first massage in 12 years. I find massages to be just profoundly uncomfortable. I am a profoundly uncomfortable human being, and just like strangers like massaging my muscles, I don't know, man. I think I'd probably start laughing. Both between like being just ticklish and also just nervous. Not for me. That's what I was saying on last stream, Random Sweet, is that for me at least, for my specific use case, like I don't know how phone-centric your lifestyle is, but for me, I think that if push comes to shove, I could absolutely do a pretty inexpensive cell phone and be perfectly okay. Like, I take a lot of pictures, and I like to have a good-looking picture, because, like, you know, I go places. I want to take pictures of the landscape, take pictures of, like, my girlfriend visiting these beautiful landscapes. I want to come out looking good without me, like, tweaking settings. Cameras are pretty important to me on a phone, but, like, that's really it. I could really, outside of that, if push comes to shove, I could do, like, $100 Android phone and be reasonably happy with it. I get wanting to buy a more expensive phone, though, because I like my phones to last as well. And you would think that you would hope that you get what you pay for, right? Yeah, that's intimidating money when you see them by themselves, a desk and a phone, and it's even more so when you see them side by side and you have to add them up. That's rough, dude. I think that we all kind of dream about what we could do if we had just a little more. Yeah, just a little more. I know I definitely do. I talked about some of those dreams recently. I stepped out of my head for a second and realized that I'm still just like gently going back and forth, mining things out in Minecraft while we're talking about all these things. Hillberry's only massage was weird. Oh Jesus. When Kilberry and her mom went to a place out in South Carolina, it was 2 ladies doing the massages. The one I had took her elbow and massaged my butt muscle, and I wasn't expecting it. And she told me in Chinese to relax, and I'm like, I can't. That's my hind end. And usually they ask before doing those areas, and yeah. Oh gosh. That just seems like a common courtesy, right? It's just like, hi, I'm a stranger, and this is literally my job to touch you, but like, this is a sensitive area. Are you okay with this? You'd think that, I don't know. Oh gosh, Gilbert, don't discourage me even more from like going to a massage sometime in my life. Because for me, like I lived in a a fraternity house in college, and our house mom lived like 5 or 6 states away from us. Like she was never actually at the house, but very sweet, cared for all of us, took care of us from a distance. And every finals week, she would give us each like a care package full of like snack food and energy drinks and like raisins, quick energy. And she would also hire a local masseuse to like come by the house, and there would just be like a massage chair set up and in the common area for pretty much all of finals week. And I never took her up on it. It was just not for me. Not for me. Like the massage is there to chill you out, because finals week, doing your finals is always a very stressful time at college or university. And a massage would have had just the opposite effect on me. Like that would just up my anxiety. And I was already pretty tense, and it took like hours. It took like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. My memory might be exaggerating, but it felt like it took a long time. And I was studying, so I was getting like 1 hour of sleep a night at times. So I convinced myself that I did not have time to go see a free massage. Yeah. That's some deep-seated bullshit that I will surely like talk myself through and think myself through someday. But just not for me. It feels like we're almost done. We're at the water line, folks. I'm dealing with water that's just randomly here. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Micah's the same way? I gotcha. The hot springs offered they had like in-house masseuses as well, so like you get out of the hot springs and you're all like pruny and relaxed, and they're like, yep, if for this extra fee you could like have a masseuse. Oh my god, he's back on the keyboards. Yeah, he mentioned that he was done lurking, and then I figured like he must have run off somewhere. But no, of course, the keyboards call, they beckon. I know, what is it with me today? I don't know, like Hot Springs is not Arkansas. Like, oh, what the hell? What? Why are they here? I have a whole village back there. And that's where my cows are as well, so like, what do I do? I mean, kill him, of course, but... They're moving in, boys. Actually, oh, I can get them to kill him. Yeah, some friendly fire. Come on, one more. Yes! Oh, that was some big brain. Boom! Feels good, man. I don't want your bad omen BS. Get out of here. That was satisfying. Yeah, I will say, I'll give thumbs up to Hot Springs, but the rest of Arkansas is evil trash. And you gotta get through all that evil trash to get to that glorious, glorious center nougat. That is Hot Springs. Probably not worth. And Mike is out. He's out. Done with the keyboard game for tonight. Just tonight only. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm still doing the same thing I was. So that is pretty interesting, but it's literally, yeah, it's a hill where like natural quartz crystals. Okay, they call it Mount Ida. So it's technically a mount. But yeah, a large hill or a small mountain. And it does have like natural quartz crystals like scattered all across the top of it. It's like a retired quartz mine. Is the draw of it. Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of places will sell you like quartz that they found on the mountain there. I have more of these crossbows than I will ever need. They're being dumped in the river. Unceremoniously, rudely. Nice. Got a few more items to pick up over here. Pop, 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 pop. Dude, now I'm like seeing demons out of the corner of my eye. I'm worried I'm gonna get raided again. That was crazy. What triggers those guys? Like, I guess I've spent enough time in this area that they... Maybe it is a timing thing. What day is it in this chunk? Is that chunk specific? No, that just says 820. Local difficulty is 3.36 / 0.68. I don't know how to interpret that. Oh my god, nope. I should have known. Micah's back at it. Done taking apart the keyboard at least for tonight, but still cracking on the numpad. We're almost there. This is so crazy. And I don't think this stream has been too tedious. I've been enjoying the conversation, the energy. Oh my gosh, I almost have to re-up my pickaxe again. Can't believe it's... I mean, I can. Can't believe it's already almost done. But he keeps digging. Oop, back to the floating bed. The bed is no longer floating, of course. Oh my gosh. This would have been a slog if I didn't stream it. I probably would have like threw on a podcast and just zoned out and done this anyway with my Sunday. Man. Press and play on OBS was a good idea. Are we full up now? No, of course we're not. Gucci baby. Oh my goodness. Damn. Like that looks awesome. Totally worth it. Now keep in mind, this is all going to be water as well on the bottom here. And once that's done, wow, this is going to pop, y'all. I'm feeling good about this. I gotta get that aerial view. Ooh. Oh, my voice is so shot. Turn around, see if we can get a nice view of this. Oh, yeah, dude. That's gonna be so awesome. Wow. When that's all water? Come on. That's unreal. Gosh, it was a bitch. But that's gonna be worth it. Gotta make sure I don't like careen into a wall while I'm sightseeing like this. Get from over here. Oh my god, that's gonna look so awesome. Credit where credit is due. This was, much like most of my builds, someone else's idea. That's all on Abs and Crapson for encouraging me to dig out along that curve there, rather than compromising and just making that flower bed. That looks so good. And that's gonna look even better once all that water's gone. Excuse me. Once all that stone is gone and I replace that with water. That said, that stutter right there is my cue to call it a night, at least on Twitch. I think 3.5 hours is good. So, since I streamed on a Sunday, I may rejoin you guys tomorrow afternoon. Mondays are pretty consistent for me. But we shall see. Next time, we'll have some more. Well, just some more sweet Minecraft mining and crafting action, I suppose. So, Random Swee, Micah, Killberry, Extanium, Titty Biscuits, everybody, thank you for hanging out tonight. I just, it makes my day to hang out with y'all and play a little Minecraft. And Chevy, wherever you are, thank you for the new sub. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the start of your week. Have a good start of your week. If the start of your week's not cooperating, put it in a headlock and make it a good week. I'm the Shasta one. I'll catch you next time. Adios.